Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 212 of Beer Knowledge, the podcast Adjunct series. Folks, we are heading out to Niagara-On-The-Lake this evening, and that has got to be one of my favorite regions of Ontario. It was a place we came when we lived in Montreal. We came down to both Beamsville and Niagara-on-the-Lake regularly. So it is a pretty nice thing to be a lot closer now. And I feel like we haven't really, I'm even just sort of like running through in my mind the breweries in the area. I feel like we just haven't done enough, goddammit. So we're making up for that tonight. We're covering a brewery that I've been to once before a few years back. Beers are renowned for particularly their barrel and sour program. So I'm excited to get into all of that and just hear the history of what's going on, particularly in the area. I feel like it's obviously known for wine, and people need to know more that there's phenomenal things in the craft beer world going on in the region. So this is going to be a banger. Let me just fix this up, make this as clean as possible. All right, I always mess this up. So folks, please welcome, let me put this there, Hunter and Sarah of the Exchange Brewery in the building. Brought the crowd for y'all. Welcome. Thank you both for hanging out tonight. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
It is an honor and a pleasure. So we are going to kick off. We're going to do some cans to ease ourselves into it before we crack open the big bottles. And we are going to start with this little gem right here, the Extension Coffee Porter at 5.3%. So I was just looking this up on Untapped here. So it looks like there's a whole series called Extension that are different styles.
Yeah, so we kind of started our extension line more so as like one-offs. And then people started really liking a lot of our extension brews. So they've kind of stuck around. Coffee Porter is definitely one of them. Okay. It's been a favorite. So we kind of started it as like a sub-brand, but then everything we kind of made we liked. So now we're merging it back into the Exchange brand.
Okay. So it was sort of like a total its own brand, like sold as almost like Extension Brewery type of thing.
Yeah.
No way. That's cool. How long ago did you guys start this one?
We started that about when I started around 4 years ago. Okay. We started just doing like different ones under this name.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. That's fun. I mean, that's actually a really good sign that people liked it enough to be like, you know what? Probably going to do our brand a little better. And this particular one here is 5.3%. Do you know what the coffee portion is? Is there a specific bean roaster?
So we actually, there's a coffee chain by us called Balzac's.
Yes.
We used their medium blend. I believe it's just the Balzac's roast. Just something not too heavy, something kind of in between. So we went with them. I actually used to work there for a bit, and I remember they would come in a couple of times. They've used their coffee beans for a couple other beers that we did in the past before I was there.
So that made sense to keep that relationship going.
Yeah,
that's dope.
It's a good relationship.
Do you do whole beans, or is it a specific process?
We use whole beans, and then we kind of do like a cold brew, basically.
Nice.
And then we'll add it into the fermentation, and then it gives us this nice nose of that. You get that coffee right away.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cold brew, from what I understand, is probably one of the most efficient ways of getting the most flavor in, from what I've heard. Yeah. Along with like, do you call it like dry beaning or something like that? I've heard people refer to it. You know what I'm saying?
Some people do, yeah.
It's dumb, but I like it. This smells amazing. Folks, great to meet you both. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's more intense.
Yeah, when we canned this one, it was, you could feel yourself waking up while we were doing it.
And we're doing it in the evening, but you know what? We're not scared. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is now 5.3. Porters, I think, are an incredibly underrated style. I'm a huge fan. And coffee beers obviously are exceptional. At 5.3, I didn't expect it to be this punchy, which is amazing. Like the coffee is real, like, I guess that's what you're saying, Hunter, that like back when you, I think it's only, does it say July? June. So only a few months. these beers last. So when it first was canned, it was like punch you in the face, and now it's still extremely punchy, but maybe a little more mellow.
Yes, definitely mellowed out a bit after a couple of months sitting in the can, but it's still pretty nice and aromatic.
I would say this is one of the punchier coffee beers that I've had in a little bit, particularly on this spectrum of ABV, which is great. How obviously now this is not the first time that the Exchange have done this particular beer. Is that correct?
No, so
or is it?
In past we have done like a different coffee inspired beer. We did a golden stout, I believe, when I first kind of was put on. It was called Ich Cacao, and it was a golden stout with, I think, Balzac's blend as well, and it was a little more heavy in the mouthfeel, but still a really great beer. Then we used the Balzac's as well
for that one. Okay, so this is the first of the porter version of the coffee beer.
Yes, I believe.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, sick. That's great. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's enough check-ins on Untappd that this would have been done a few times, so that would make sense. Okay, that's awesome. This is it. Excuse me. When I went by. I guess it was before COVID. Must have been like 2019 or something. And I think what I had was, because it was a wine day, so I had to relax. I just wanted to break from it. So you have a couple of little beers. I think I had dark beers from you. Maybe a porter and a stout. Do you have like a sort of flagship porter and stout? Is that?
So we have our foreign exchange stout that usually comes out every Christmas or around every winter. Sometimes we do it with a coffee as well. Like we'll do like a coffee stout. But last season we just did the foreign exchange stout, which was just a very classic style stout. This one was a little heavier in alcohol, like around 6-7%.
Okay.
But we've also had a really sessionable porter when I first started called Featherweight. It was like, I believe, 2.5 to 3%. Yeah, it was a really light, nice drinking porter. And we're currently in the process of canning a Munich Dunkel. We will have in a couple weeks.
Nice.
And
Dunkels are the best.
Yes. I've only been at the brewery for 3 years, so even just trying to remember just in the past 3 years what we have had out in the wintertime, but it's mostly been the foreign exchange stout, the coffee stout, now the coffee porter, and the featherweight porter that we had a bit ago.
Okay, that makes sense. That's okay. There's one I had here. I'm just checking the thing. So it was 2019. Looking at the date, it was the number 3 porter.
Okay, yeah.
Is that so I don't think that's the featherweight one though. That might be a different one.
No, featherweight was a part of the extension series.
I see.
Yeah, I'm sure at one point Sam, our
maybe
head
a similar
brewer,
base.
Possibly. Sam, our head brewer, he's the man behind all the recipes, and I believe a lot of them have the same styling and recipe base for most of them. It's just more oomph probably in these ones than the other one.
That would make sense. Okay, yeah. I love that. And then I had the foreign exchange stout, which is 7.5. It looks like, which I think that was the one you mentioned. And it looks like I had the New England IPA. I actually went kind of wild that day, going hard. So that's sick. So this is nice to get. I feel like that's like such a mild introduction to the brewery. So that's why I was excited to talk to you guys and get into particularly like the sour stuff, which, from my understanding, is it fair to say that's the main thing that you're known for?
It's mostly what we're known for, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome. That's why I assumed, but that's why I was extra keen to experience that. So, thank you for that. This is killer. Also, love the coffee bean detailing on this can. Coffee's the greatest thing ever. So it's very cool. Love it. Thank you for breaking that down. So let's get into both of your beer stories, and then we'll start talking about the brewery itself. So whoever wants to start, like, how did you get into craft beer, and talk us through your career?
Yeah, I'll start. I've been at the Exchange for about 4 years now as like the social media marketing manager. Getting into craft beer started with like the boom in 2011. I'm from Hamilton, born and raised. Now nice. I'm in Welland. And
Welland's great.
so Hamilton, it was like such a big thing. The ship on Augusta really kicked off my like love of craft beer.
I keep
So
hearing
from
about that place.
it,
Okay.
it's
I gotta get
amazing.
down
You
there.
gotta go
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was in school for advertising and marketing, and I wanted to go like the beer route. I ended up being an intern at Nickelbrook for a little bit,
Okay.
just kind of shadowing, getting my hours in. Anything from like website design, social media, campaigns, anything like that, working alongside John and everything, getting everything together.
Amazing.
From there, I kind of went agency route for a little bit. Didn't love it. So then
It's
I
a lot.
really was pining to go back to like the beer side. My husband is also a brewer. He's over at Bench.
Okay.
So
Nice.
we're both in this industry, and I just wanted to get back in it with him. So after we had our daughter, I ended up applying to the Exchange, and I've been working there ever since.
That's awesome. So
Mhm.
total in craft beer, like pushing a decade-ish?
Off and on, yeah. Because even at
Oh, the break.
like
Yeah.
when I was in Toronto, I was at an agency for a year, and I was like touching on Molson and Labatt as well.
Okay.
So little bits here and there,
Right. So
big
doing
scale,
beer
little
work.
scale.
Okay. I mean, that's good though to know all of that, particularly from the marketing side.
Mhm.
And agency work is probably the more I own a social media agency, so I know we're just social media. So the big agencies, I see their contracts sometimes because we work with them, and goddamn, there's it can get pretty hectic, and
Yeah.
they work you. From what I've seen, heard from that, but very cool that you got to see the big side though. I think that's like I know I feel like that's got to be. Have you found it valuable in marketing and the rest of your marketing work from at least just being exposed to what craft beer size budgets and macro budgets?
It's extremely different.
Okay.
Whereas like I was working on a Molson ad, and it was just like all these influencers meeting on a rooftop, just shooting like a party. Whereas now I'm at like a very small, like mom pop brewery. So it's different for sure, but shooting wise, like capturing like the food that we have at the brewery and all the beer and all the stories that we do for everything, it's around the same. Definitely learned how to work very fast and turn things around really quickly. That was like the main thing. But yeah, it's like night and day, really.
Yeah, I can imagine. At least once
Mhm.
again, yeah. At least you got to see it. Then you can sort of maybe take the idea and then scale it down to
Mhm.
small scales. Hey, if these guys are kind of doing this, and perhaps we can take it, twist it, make it unique or whatever. Just because I feel like most people working in craft probably haven't been exposed to that in the past.
Mhm.
Very cool. That's awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Hunter, talk us through it. How's your
Um,
beer story looking?
yeah, so I have actually been in the not in the craft beer scene, but I was exposed to craft beer even when I was a kid. My mom helped start up a brewery, or she helped manage a brewery in Niagara Falls, Taps Brew House, and I
Okay.
basically grew up there. Like my mom would bring us to work all the time. I learned that I didn't like the smell of mash when I was 8 years old.
That's awesome.
But I went to university and thought I was going to be a teacher. And during the pandemic, I had a job at the LCBO and realized I don't know if I want to teach. I kind of like drinking beer and I like the process of beer. And this feels like a really cool, like, job opportunity that is there, especially with the Niagara College program. So I took a shot in the dark and I said, we'll put the teaching thing on the side and let's try this out. And I applied to Niagara College. I took the brewmaster course there. And I, at that time,
Awesome.
was working at a couple different breweries, feeling out what stylings I liked. And then it brought me to the Exchange Brewery, where I really started to see myself working in this type of environment, and just even meeting Sam, Robin, and knowing that I could do more working at a small scale brewery. I have done so many different things just in this brewery alone, from starting out as a server to doing deliveries to LCBO sales. And now I work as a production assistant slash brewer with Sam in the back, and it's been a way better experience than I ever could have imagined, and it's brought me here today doing this right now that I'm doing.
That's awesome. I love to hear that, and it's extra cool that you got to maybe experience some of the other roles, even if brewing was where you want to go. You got to like do like see the whole spectrum from the sales, the distro, the serving, like from the customers to like the clients, like LCBO and deliveries and stuff. Like that's got to be valuable.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And it's not an opportunity that many people get to have in like bigger scale breweries. It's more you have your role, you know what you're doing. Whereas in a smaller scale, I find that you're able to dip your toe into something else that you didn't think you would get to try. Again, I feel like I've done a lot of different jobs just even working at Exchange, and I've loved doing every single one, like just learning all different aspects.
That's sick. What's your do you have a like I imagine then I was gonna say what's your favorite? I imagine the I was thinking, I was like, why did I ask that? But like is it very clear that now you're doing brewing that you're like, oh, this is like I've done some of the other stuff, I got a taste of it, but I'm like, this is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah, I like the fast nature and the of being in the brew house and doing all of the jobs that I do. But I also am like, oh, you need me to do an offsite event. I love doing that. I love meeting people. I love just selling our beer to people. But when it comes down to my favorite day of the week, it definitely is when I'm in the brew house and I get to I get to do all the things that I went to school for and get to see it in action and have like, a say in some of the things that we're brewing or coming up with, and just getting to learn from Sam. Because when I had started at the brewery, I didn't know too much about Belgian styles and like artisanal ales and all that. Like you learn what you do in school, but then to see it in practice is so different.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, because at first I did not really like sours.
Right.
And then I started working at the Exchange and I was like, okay, I actually really do like these. And it's just taken off from there.
That's sick. I love that. Are you doing the barrel side and the non-barrel side? Like you're sort of working with a bit of everything?
Yeah, so I've definitely gotten to do both. We do a lot of, it's really kind of 50-50 with just steel tank fermenting versus the barrel aging. Like currently, even in our warehouse right now, there's like 100 barrels with like beers ready and rocking. And I get to go to the warehouse and I've seen different barrels. I've sampled various barrels. It's and even just talking with Sam and watching him brew and all that stuff, I've definitely done both. And we also had to. I didn't realize how much I liked barrel cleaning. It's a very fun experience too, getting to clean your first barrel, which I did, I think, 2 years ago.
Okay. Different than kegs, I guess.
A lot different than kegs.
Yeah.
A lot heavier. A lot.
Good point.
Depending what's in them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they've got that one little hole, so you got to kind of like rock it or something to get.
Yeah, you got to get the bung hole. You got to get that. Yeah, it's a lot of maneuvering with the barrels. I've gotten okay, but Sam is still the expert on rolling and maneuvering barrels.
I imagine that's a skill earned over or honed over time.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's fun. Good for you. Thank you for that. I love it. So we got your both your histories. We know where you're at, what you guys have been doing. The brewery itself. Are you able to speak to? I'd love to just hear like the I don't really know the story, like any of the owners involved and how it sort of came to be. Why Niagara?
Yeah.
Why sours? All that type of stuff.
One thing I will say, just to add on to Hunter, we're so close to Niagara College, so we do really take on a lot of their brewing students, and we really like throughout school they're serving with us, and then from there they usually go into the back, start working bits off and on with Sam, and then they'll start doing odd end jobs as well, and then from there they kind of go off to different breweries, and it's like a stepping stone at the Exchange. And Sam really makes a point to once or twice a year that we have beer tasting. We learned different ways how to taste it. We did super taster testing with strips. It's always different. It's always
What's
like
that? Super taster. That sounds fun.
it's wild. He brought in these strips that taste so awful, and it will actually tell you if you're a super taster or if you're just a regular taster. And he was very sad to know that he was not a super taster, but
Is that like how sensitive your palate is to off flavors?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I would look into getting it because it is definitely a fun party game to do. Just pass it around to everybody and see who can and who can't.
Because
So
it's either
sometimes
you taste.
you can't just you can or you can't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just either you taste this or you do not taste it at all.
Yeah.
Is it like the what's the baby vomit one again?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Butyric acid?
Yes.
Is it shit like that? Like you've got a little
Yeah.
stick and go lick the baby vomit square. Like you gotta see
Pretty
if you
much,
can
yeah.
taste it.
It tastes horrible if you do taste it. But if you don't, then
I almost feel like that. Honestly, like that's crazy. Thank you. I never even heard of that.
Mhm.
I'm always hesitant. I've always wanted to take BJCP just because I'm talking to folks like you both and just wanted to have a bit of a deeper vocabulary. But I was just worried if I knew too much, like I wouldn't be able to get past it. Because I see some people who just can't enjoy shit because they can just taste too much. They're like, oh, it's still, what's the one that's diacetyl all the time.
cilantro.
Yeah, the cilantro one for sure. Like in gozes or whatever, diacetyl seems to be the most common one. Or they can just identify off flavors too quickly, and that I don't know. I would be concerned that would. I don't know. I feel like you just hyper analyze every single thing you ever drink, and I don't know if you can turn that off and just shut up and enjoy it. You know.
So this was part of him kind of teaching us, like, literally everybody tastes something different because everyone kind of feels like shy or awkward saying what they taste in a beer or like any sort of aroma whatsoever. But he's like, every single person tastes it differently. So like, you're not wrong no matter what. So that's like, I feel like that's a really good thing that he's been teaching the students that have been coming in, being like, you're not wrong. So just kind of like talk about it, open the conversation, and then you'll learn more about the beer that way.
That's actually a really good thing to do with the stuff that's beyond just the beer, the brewing stuff, for example. And or I guess even like the servers, because the servers should probably know as well. But just doing like, I guess you don't serve, Sarah specifically. You like, are you directly like customer facing with having to describe?
Sometimes if I'm like in the
events,
like
maybe?
tap room and stuff like that, like people will ask me. But Hunter works like a hybrid, like server and brewing. So they definitely get asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it's just really smart to have the whole team up on what's going on and be able to explain it, because it is kind of annoying. Like I've done this for a while. I've never been trained on it. You just keep drinking and talking to smart people and you learn stuff. And I always feel like I don't like if I go to a brewery or somewhere, a beer store, and I know more than the person. It's always like you want them to sort of like tell me about your products more, and they start to describe it too basic. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, hit me with the serious. So it is. I think it's dope because maybe it's just a training thing. Is that maybe some people just are thrown into the job and they don't really get things like that, to lick a strip and taste baby vomit.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. I love that. That's super cool. That was a nice little tangent. The brewery history. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So
talk to me.
Yeah, the brewery itself, it's woman owned by a woman named Robin. She actually found Sam and brought him over from the States. He's originally from Michigan. He was brewing at Jolly Pumpkin over there. So together they both
oh my God, that explains everything.
Yes. Literally everything. Oh, that's all you have to say, and people are like, okay, I get it.
Did he design recipes from Jolly Pumpkin? Or was he sort of more of a shift brewer?
I'm not sure. Hunter, has he ever told you?
I believe he did. He started in production, and then he did more like brewing as well. I think he kind of just like worked his way up as he was there. In regards to beer design, I don't believe so, but maybe.
Either, I mean, like if he's able to, he does that at Exchange, right? He's designing all the beers and stuff.
Yes.
So I imagine even if he wasn't doing it, then you'd be surrounded by some of the best in the game. In that,
he's
in that
pretty
field.
heavily influenced from Jolly Pumpkin for sure.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so
Mhm.
Robin wanted to start a brewery that
Yeah,
was
so Robin was like an avid home brewer, and
okay.
she lived in Toronto and Niagara-on-the-Lake. Then our spot opened up. Our spot is actually the old telephone exchange, so hence the name, the Exchange Brewery.
Gotcha.
So she completely gutted it from the inside. Completely, like we had no floors because we had to bring all the tanks in and put them in the basement.
Right.
So we always say like whatever is there is just staying there from now on. Nothing is moving because we literally can't.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. So we even have like the hemlock floor joists and stuff that are like our tabletops. Like there's a lot of history in the exchange. We really
cool.
like make a nod to the a whole women working and while the men were at war and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, so we've been open since 2016.
Oh wow, 10 years next year. That's dope.
Yeah, so that's the next party to plan is the Big Ten.
Well, that's a whole thing, but it's worth
yeah.
it. That's sick. I love keep hearing them when breweries. I feel like my girlfriend and I were talking like yesterday. Like I feel like we keep seeing 10-year anniversaries. I feel like that's just in a time when like you've seen the opposite. We're seeing so many breweries close or just maybe doom and gloom about the industry. Seeing and hearing about all of these 10 years is so encouraging, and it shows that we're in this really cool because that was about the 2016, arguably the beginning of the peak of craft beer out here and the States too. Sorry, I just thought that was really interesting. That's sick. I love hearing that. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, so we've been there for like 10 years now. We're right on the main street on Queen Street in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Huge tourist destination. We got anybody you could ever think of coming in. Everyone asks us how many bottles they can put on the carry-on. We will never know the answer, no matter how many times you ask.
No.
Yeah.
That's 0. Check in. Oh, gosh. If you could take a thing, I don't know how many would make. What's the? I haven't flown in a while. It's like 50 kilos or something, isn't it? Or is it 50 pounds?
It's
kilos or pounds?
50 pounds.
50 pounds. And a bottle's got to be like 10 pounds.
You can do a couple.
Yeah. But if you get a suitcase just for it, maybe get the smaller ones. So you get more.
Get rid of your favorite socks. Get rid of your favorite.
Put them all
one
in.
sock, put them on the bottle.
Put them on the bottle so they don't clink.
You're all set. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we do. Like a lot of our foot traffic is tourists, especially in the summer. We still do get a lot of American tourists, which is very nice.
That's great.
And then, so everyone comes in, enjoys our double level brewery. When you come in, you can see Sam and Hunter working in the glassed off area. And then you can go up the stairs and we have a big upper patio where we host like different events. Like you can rent it out. We're in the middle of the wedding district and the wine district. So a lot of people kind of like flock to us for all their different like special events and everything like that.
That's great.
But yeah, like we're going strong 10 years later, still brewing sours. We have over 35 different SKUs right now at the brewery. So
35
on
tap
hard.
At once, like available at
not
one
on tap. So on tap we have 8, and then we
Okay.
always have a gluten-free saison on tap at all times, and then too many bottles on our wall.
Right, and you can crack the bottles on premise.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's dope. I guess that would probably make more sense because it would kind of be hard to keep a lot of this stuff available in kegs. Otherwise, you have to have a million taps.
Yeah. So we have like a wall of bottles and then a fridge of bottles and cans.
That's great. Okay, so eight is pretty solid. Yeah, every time we were there over the summer briefly, and I feel like it's always rammed. It's always hard to get a park. And I did see a bunch of American plates actually, so it's that's encouraging. And I have heard that it's up percentage of tourists from that side over here is up, and it's just the other way is down for every seasons.
Lately, like the town has really been asking like what it's been like, and they've been nothing but lovely. Like there's nothing to really comment about. Everyone's still coming over. Everything's been the same. It's just been nice summer.
Just nice and normal. We were in Florida. We tried to escape the winter for a bit, and we got there on February 1st, which is when it all started. And everyone we met just apologized to us all the time. We were in Albany last weekend because I wanted to go to a couple breweries out there. and we didn't travel as much to the States as we normally would have this summer. We kept it local, but we went down there, met some people who said we're from Canada, straight away apologized. So I feel like the vast majority of Americans are just like, look, man, it's not us. Like, we don't want this either. Like, yeah. So to defend, though, I feel bad because I feel like now their business, it's not their fault, but their businesses are kind of getting, particularly the border towns, getting pretty screwed because of for all of this. But happy to hear that they're coming through, and then they're just happy to probably be here as well, and everyone treating them good because maybe they're worried. They're like, oh, is everyone going to think we're whatever?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Okay, nice. So when Robin started the brewery, so just to come back to that briefly, so when she had the idea to start, obviously a home brewer, was she brewing like sours, Belgians, lambics, all that type of stuff? Was that her focus, hence leaning into it?
Yeah, so she really loved all like the Belgian everything. So that's really what she's stuck to this whole year. And then her and Sam really bonded over that, of course.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's been going strong ever since. She's still very much so like involved with everything. We name all the beers together. Nice. We talk different recipes, different names, everything like that. Like, she's very hands-on still.
That's great. And I guess obviously then was it the offering everything outside of those styles, like all the things we've talked about, the darker beers and the IPAs and da-da-da. Was that just to round out the portfolio, or was that... I ask because I feel like the breweries that focus exclusively on barrel-aged sours are having the roughest time in beer. So I wonder if it was sort of like an economic decision to just, or because of where you are in town and you have a bunch of people come in, like, what the hell is this Belgian stuff? I just want a yellow fizzy, type of thing. Was there any reason that she did that?
Well, there's always demand. Everybody's going to come in and be like, what's your lightest beer? What do you have on tap? Something like that. So like we always have our amber ale on tap, just for that reason. But one thing about Sam is like he makes a really, really fucking good IPA, like really good IPA. So we always say we're like a Belgian sour brewery, but like he can make an IPA and he likes making them. And then like everything, we're 10 staff in the winter, 15, 20, like with servers and everything in the summer. And it's just a group effort. He's always like, have you seen anything that you like? Have you tasted anything? Like, let me know. We'll chat about it. So you just go grab a beer and like chat it out. Then he'll bring it to our meetings. We'll chat it out some more and kind of go from there.
That's dope. So involving the whole team in sort of R&D, essentially.
Yeah.
Like if someone's traveling and they go, hey, I had this fire beer, like it could be pretty cool. Bring a couple cans and share it around and see what's up.
I feel like after a while, you kind of get like trapped in your own bubble, not to say like, not that Sam's like trapped in his own Belgian bubble, but like one of our old brewers, Matt, he had went to Europe for a bit, came back, and he had the idea of an English ale. And thus we created We Wallop, and it was an Audley's Best Bitter. And they were two just nice English ale / English bitters that are now still, like, We Wallop is still a beer that we make all year round. It was something that Matt had inspiration from, was like, hey, let's just make a solid English ale that's light, easy drinking, and get a little bit of bitterness to it. And it's currently a beer that's in the LCBOs right now, and it's still going strong, I think, 2 years later.
That's a cool story. I like that. And I guess they're trying to recreate that as many times as possible, like lean on the whole stuff to bring stuff in from travels like that. That's even cooler, rather than just sort of going around locally, like going over to Europe, finding something sick, bringing it back. That's super dope. And speaking of IPAs, since we were talking about it, I kind of feel it'd be rude not to.
Of course.
Let us shall. So this little gem right here is the Niagara Fruit Stand IPA. So I actually didn't even check this out beforehand. Does this have fruit in it, or is it sort of replicated by the hops?
No, it is. It's got, we brew it with fruit, fresh apricot, peaches, and strawberries.
Hence the photo. It's not a photo at all. It's a drawing. Okay, sick. What's the base style on this? Is it like a Westie / American or New England?
So this one we use a Cali yeast, so just something nice, neutral that will take on the hops that we can you know, like it's just a regular based IPA, and then
Gotcha.
we added the fruit to give it a bit of like a sweet, fruity balance to it, but not overpowering. I find that you
Okay.
still get that nice hop bitterness as well. It's nothing too overpowering in any of the realms.
It does look, just on without sipping it, that actually makes sense. It looks like like an American IPA that's sort of
Yes.
like new school American slash. Well, I always call everything Aussies, and that probably not a fair thing to call everything that's kind of like not haze, but American IPAs
Yeah.
that are like new school in the sense of they're not amber. They're this beautiful, like, you know, yellow color with like a little bit of like haze. I imagine from the either the hops or the fruit probably deliver that. What's the
Yeah, a
fruit
lot of the haze comes from the fruit.
from
And
the
sorry,
fruit?
what were you saying?
I was gonna say, what's the
Yeah.
fruit mechanism? Is it at like aseptic puree? Is it something
Nope.
else?
So we use whole fruits. So
Oh, wow.
we slice them up.
Oh, jeez.
We roasted our apricots to get a bit more of the natural flavoring from it and
No way.
get rid of a lot of the water concentrate that was inside. And then we ferment the IPA, and when we put it into the bright tank, we add our fruits into it and let it sit for a couple days.
Wow. Okay. So it sits on it, then
Yeah.
just strained or racked off it. Okay. And it's got Centennial, CTZ, Mosaic, and Simcoe. The CTZ,
Yes.
is that a hop in and of itself? Or it's like a, you know, like Cryo or Incognito or something?
Yes, it is a hop within itself.
Okay.
It's an acronym for like Columbus, Tomahawk, and Zeus.
Oh,
So
okay. Is it a hop product? Or is it like
yeah. So it's kind of like it's a hop product that you can buy. Like I believe we get them from Yakima.
Okay.
So and it's just like a nice little hybrid.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's sick. I've seen it before, but I don't know why. Maybe in my head I'm thinking, you know, it's like Mosaic Cryo or whatever, and CTZ, like Centennial CTZ, but its own thing. So it stands for, sorry, it was,
Yeah.
was it Columbus?
It's a Columbus, Tomahawk, and Zeus.
Zeus. Okay, I remember that. Thank you. Teaching me. See, this is what I'm saying. That's why I love my shit. Legends. Cheers.
Cheers.
The fruit are pretty soft on the nose.
I find right away, like when I was
nice.
smelling it when we first brewed it, it's like apricot right away is the first thing I get.
I'd agree with that. It's like, but it's really subtle, because if you think of a fruited, I wasn't sure what to expect, because I feel like I don't have fruited IPAs. Was it real like a massive thing years and years ago? But I feel like I haven't had a ton lately, and there's different versions of it. Sometimes they become almost like smoothie sours where they've left the puree in or whatever. But since this was sitting on real fresh fruits, that's fun.
It definitely, like, the fruited IPA was like a big popular thing, and then I feel like the West Coast hazies and just New England style started coming forefront, and people were not really drinking as many fruited IPAs until the smoothies came out, and then I feel like the fruits came back
to try to balance it out a bit, or that's like, or to get people. Yeah, it would make sense actually, and I think you're right. I'm thinking when smoothies kind of started popping, like 2019-ish, 2020.
Yeah,
and at least over here, and then that would make sense because I remember Hudson Valley in New York were doing those brunch sour fruited IPAs. It was like a thing for a bit there, and they were like almost like the pre-smoothie ones. Like it was more hectic than this, but not as hectic as a smoothie. Yeah. And then that kind of became a bit of a thing, and then I've heard that's dropped off lately. That's trends. The kids.
It's kind of like it's still kind of around. I worked the Because Beer Fest. In Hamilton, and I believe a couple breweries had their smoothie machines out, and there were some IPAs there, and I was like, oh, it hasn't died off yet. It's still around.
You mean like the slushy machines, like an actual?
Oh yeah, the slushy machines.
Yeah, them joints. Yeah, that's a whole. That's like a subgenre of the smoothies.
Yeah.
Which is even wilder. And like Third Moon dudes will tell me they just open, because I was like, what do you do? Do you make like a concentrate or something? And they just open cans and just pour it in. So
Yeah.
it's literally just because there's so much fruit in there. I don't think they have to make a concentrate with that level of sugar. It just slushies it up, which is fun and ridiculous. But this is where did the idea for this one come about? Because this is an interesting approach.
So we were really talking about bringing something more Niagara-on-the-Lake, having kind of a staple at the brewery. And then all of our drives just include the fruit stands. And every day we're like, who's hitting a fruit stand on the way home? Getting all your different like peaches and apricots and everything. It's just like what we're known for.
Totally.
So we grabbed a bunch of fruit, threw it on. It tasted delicious. Sam tweaked it a bit.
Yep.
And that's when it was born. And it's just, people love it. Like, it's been like absolutely crazy at the brewery for this beer, actually.
Really?
It's one of like the most exciting things we've brewed in a long time. People love the can. They love the idea of a Niagara peach. Like, nobody hates a Niagara peach. They're delicious. We wait for it all year to come back around. So the second people see it, that's like usually the first can that they grab.
No, I mean, I guess that makes complete sense. Particularly is extra attractive, I think, because of the fresh fruits and fresh local fruits based on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. And as you said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. There's fruit stands everywhere, particularly as you kind of, whether it's there or Beamsville anyway, you cruising through them. I've heard, you guys might know more, that if you have almost every driveway will have something, eggs, firewood, fruit. It takes away your property taxes because it becomes a business. So if you just owned a farm or a piece of land and had your house on it, you grew something, you chucked it out the front and just had that, and you just put on your tax return. Boom, no property taxes.
I gotta do that next summer at my house.
If you can, but you do the ones that you like. I imagine if you have to ask somebody, I don't know, putting it all out there, but I reckon that if you do the firewood one and you just do the honor system where you got a little box and they just chuck the $5 in there and take the bag, and like it's like whatever, you just put whatever on the taxes, boom, boom. Not that we support that, but I don't know. It's an interesting, in this economy, whatever can get you ahead, you know.
Do whatever you can.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, this is like, I didn't know what to expect seeing this one, and I think this is lovely. This is such a nice, it's a great base for it. The American New School IPA is a cool, like, one as well. It allows it some more longevity, because if it was haze, I feel like you've got a significantly shorter time period to sell that to get it in some sort of a peak condition. But the Westie / American IPAs last so much longer, and then having the fruit on there in such a subtle way with with the hops. I mean, like, obviously Mosaic and Simcoe are kind of brighter. I guess CTC, is that like a bright tropical hop, or is that kind of more like Centennial, grassy, bitter, piney type vibes?
So I believe the CTZ is like more it's earthy and spicy, definitely.
So it's more aligned with Centennial than the other two.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then you've got half with the different types of hops, and then the fruits are like inherently these three fruits are subtle, which is probably why you're saying you had to roast them, which makes complete sense to reduce that water, which I totally get. But like, it works so well. Like, it's so smooth and balanced. It doesn't taste like you're drinking a fruited IPA. Like, if you didn't tell me, I would have thought they would have been, I don't know, whatever, Peacherine or Nectaron or some other
Nectarine,
hops.
yeah.
Oh no, like hops, Nectaron.
Hops, yeah.
The hop, yeah. Like, they're like, oh wow, that's where these fruit flavors are coming from, because they're not over the top, and they're just so like, they're just this is a really well executed beer. Is this something that has been done in the past, or is this the first year?
This is the first year for this one, yeah.
This is the first year?
Yeah.
And it went crazy. Also.
Yeah. It's definitely like very refreshing on our patio. So that's been a big seller for us.
Yeah.
And then it's going into grocery. They're just a little bit delayed. It was supposed to be a spring SKU, but then spring got pushed really far back.
Right.
So we're hoping it's in this week.
Okay. And that is it, excuse me, specific grocery or sort of across the board?
Across the board, yeah.
Okay, that's wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And then will it be a seasonal moving forward, or is it something that you could only really be done in the time that you did it due to the availability of the fruit?
It
So
probably.
we do have a bunch of fruit frozen just because it got pushed back so far. So
Smart.
we'll typically like unfreeze them, bake them for hours, and then just put them back in. If it wasn't, it might have slowed down in the winter and then picked back up again in the summer. But just because it just got pushed back so far, we've been freezing bags of them.
That's like a wicked way to do it though. Like that's like I guess if you're going to remove the fruit, sorry, the water anyway, because with the freezing, obviously it's going to increase that water. Then that'll kind of get you over the line, allows you to keep that. Basically, is the idea to keep it year round, being that it was so popular?
We would love to, yeah.
Yeah.
But like we try to do the freshest fruit possible for this one, keep it very authentic Niagara fruit stand. So we'll see how far our fruit freezing gets us.
Yeah, I guess you haven't done a batch with the frozen ones yet.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, so you'll see how that turns out, and if it's not quite the same, then you're like, all right, well, I guess it's the spring thing.
Yeah.
Or early. When do you brew it? When? Actually, I didn't check this one. This was canned in June, end of June. So
Yeah,
you
we
probably-
I believe Sam, I think they just, because I watched them put some fruits into a bright tank a couple of days ago, or maybe even a week ago. It's something that's definitely still being brewed. Maybe even with the frozen fruits now, not sure. But yeah, I feel like this one's going to be an all year round one. But it definitely, I think at one point was our highest selling beer for the season.
Wow. Was that a surprise to the team?
For myself, no. I kind of expected a fruited IPA to kind of be very popular in the summer, especially with how hot our summer was. And it's a very approachable beer. Like I find that people that don't really like IPAs, like really like this beer. Like it's not overly powerful in the bitterness realm. It's not overly powerful in the sweetness of the fruits. It's just a really well balanced like summer beer.
So it speaks to the palate of the folks. That is actually a bit of an aside there. So being that, obviously, yeah, Queen Street. If people have ever been on Niagara-on-the-Lake, it's beautiful. Like it's like a block away from like the actual walking along the lake. The houses are wicked. It's super nice. So obviously, and there's that big beautiful park right by you guys as well. So there's and that what's the hotel? Prince of Wales, right on the corner.
Yeah.
Yep. Like the whole area is just gorgeous. So therefore, and as we were talking about, it attracts a lot of tourists. Do you have like a profile maybe of the typical drinker that would sort of like, oh yeah, our general crowd likes X, Y, Z type thing, or is it sort of a little hard to pin it down, being that it's just fluctuating because there's just tourists. Some, there's obviously some locals, but it's probably people from all over most of the time.
I feel like the most approachable beer, because I do work as a server most of the time, is like the number one thing is, what is your lightest beer? A lot of people want to start out with the light and then see, like they'll have a couple drinks and see where they'll go off of the menu. So right now we have a Hefeweizen on tap right now. So it's between the Hefeweizen and the English ale. And then I try to get people to try some of our sours after a bit, see if they're very interested in that. I find a lot of people that come in that say they don't like beer typically. I'll give them a sour and they actually are more surprised and will drink a full pint or half pint of that, because I feel like a lot of these people who don't like beer, quote unquote, don't like maybe the lager style or like the amber style. They are more wine or even cocktails. And that sour, because it's barrel aged in some of the wine barrels, it gives them like a different view on what beer can taste like. And the acidity also helps because it's not so malt forward, very carbonated. It's actually really more approachable for them.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Yeah, because as you were saying that, I was like, yeah, I wonder, like, people who would go in there not like beer, they're probably part of a larger group that Is that typically it? Because otherwise, why would you walk into a place that says brewery on it?
It's a
Yeah.
lot. Oh, you'd be surprised, actually.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people coming in asking if we have wine, and we're like, we do have wine, but it's not ours. Would you like to try this? It's actually quite similar. And then I always hear Hunter do their spiel down at the bar about the similarities between our like lambics and wines and how they're very similar. And then finally they give in and try it. And there's actually quite a few like older little ladies that come in like at least once a month as like a little club because they just like love our sour beer all of a sudden, which you wouldn't think it was our demographic, but like we made them try the sour and they actually loved it so much they come back all the time as like a little lunch date.
That's cute.
Mhm.
I love. There's almost not like honestly. That's the one thing I talk about a lot. My girlfriend and I, whenever we go to places, because we always go to like nerdy brewery places, and if we go like, particularly if it's not in a city, and then you go and you see like I don't know, an old couple in their 70s or 80s playing cards, drinking fire haze or something. I'm like, this is awesome. Like I don't even know if they know what they're as far as like they know the level of shit that they're drinking, but this is sick. I love that a lot when there's just like the demographic that's unexpected. And I don't know, beer is for everybody and it's cool. It's something we talk about a lot as far as like if all demographics don't get into beer, whether it's cultures or ages or genders or anything, then beer is screwed. So it's cool to hear that people are coming. Maybe it's extra good for you guys because you're in a place where people are already open to try new things. They're in a wine region. They might be kind of lit because they've been to wineries.
Yep.
So then they're like, what do you got? A sour beer. Normally, if they were, first drink, they might be a little more resistant, but because they've had a few, they're like, oh, you know what? We're in this beautiful street. We're in this town. Let's go. Let's do it. So maybe it's almost like breweries like the Exchange are kind of almost better gateway breweries than others because you're just exposed to people who are more open to exploring at that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, at the brewery, we really focus on having like something for everyone because we are a tourist town. So
Right.
we have our sours, we have our clean beers, we have our gluten-free saison for everybody that's looking for it. And then we also do a beer cocktail.
Sick.
So once a month, we come up with one or two different cocktails with our beers, and a lot of women will be like, "Ooh, I'm not like really interested in it. It has beer in it." And then the second
Right.
they taste it, it's just like, it's so good. It does not taste like beer. And they're shocked and they pick out, it's so funny though, like they'll pick out the one sour characteristic in it and they'd be like,
Mhm.
oh, I love this about it. We're like, well, that's our beer that we tried to get you to try.
That
And
you were
that's the one thing
fronting.
that you pinpointed. And we're like, here, taste the sample. And they're like, oh, wait, okay. So it's funny. We do change a lot of minds at the brewery.
Mm.
And then there are those other people that are just like, I want a lager. So it's like the hardest demographic to track by far.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. But it's extra sick that you're doing like the good work for the industry.
Yeah.
Because then if people come through and they have a good experience with you guys, then they go back to wherever they live to go to their local, and they might not have gone to the local brewery before. Like, hey, we went to that cool place in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Maybe we should try this one that's been around the corner for 10 years we never went into, and just opens people up to the idea. Because I think sometimes breweries have a weird perception that is pretentious, that is the white dudes with beards, that whole thing, hipster type of thing. When it's like, nah, man, like it's for literally everybody, and the like the what's the word, the future of the industry really depends on more people being involved because I think it's not shrinking as much as it was, but it's still, even regardless of whether where it's at, like I think it's important anyway because people just need to see what the possibilities are. And I also do love you mentioned that it's like you got something for everybody. My girlfriend started the pod with me, but she sort of hasn't been drinking much beer lately. So whenever we go to, particularly in the States, I feel like Canada's a little tough, and I think it's probably just a licensing thing. But most breweries in the States would have something like a draft wine, draft cocktail, all sorts of other options for groups of people. And when I'm there, I always feel like I look around, I'm like, I don't know if these people are here because it's a brewery. I think they're just looking at it like it's a bar. and there's something for everyone. And I think that's a kind of good thing. And I'm seeing more and more breweries out here do similar thing, like what you're talking about. Have wine, have a different, whatever, gluten-free, which very rarely comes up. So that's extra cool, because then you got that one line that never gets tainted with regular beer. Cocktails, all these different things. It'd just be like, hey man, we got cool. You don't like beer? No problem. And then you're still doing the little like, hey, try this cocktail. Getting them kind of putting them onto it without it. I don't know. I think that's extraordinarily valuable. Do you guys see it that way?
Yeah, for sure. We've seen like a really big change with the cocktails. Especially not so much females are really into like trying sour beers at our brewery. It's more so the males, which is interesting. Yeah. Okay. I feel like it's like, I don't know thing? What it maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it's a masculine thing where they don't like sours, or if it's just maybe the females are a little bit more adventurous. I'm not sure, but it's crazy how many like males are just like, no, thank you. Like, just no.
They're just brushing it off. Like, no, I don't do that.
No.
What do they have instead? Typically, being very general, do they have, is it like, give me the dark beer or something, like try to be all manly and shit?
It's usually like an IPA or a lager.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so that's really interesting you say that. I find that, say I'm with friends who don't drink beer, and they'll see me drinking either sour or New England IPAs, like super hazy New England IPAs, and they'll look at it and they've never seen it, like, why does it look like that? I'm gonna try it. They'll be like, what the fuck? And same thing. So the New England, because it tastes like tropical fruit. There's no bitterness. Because that's why I thought this is interesting. Because to me, this style is a bit more of a challenge to get people into because of that bitterness. Unless maybe they're into cocktails and they're used to bitter liqueurs or whatever. Mm-hmm. Whereas New England's are just like soft, fluffy fruit juice type of thing. Mm-hmm. Or you got the sour. Basically, it's like sour, soft fruit juice. And wine drinkers typically, particularly white wine drinkers, obviously would gravitate to it because there's a lot of similar characteristics in those. And like you were saying, the Exchange uses wine barrels to age a lot of the sours in. So I wonder if, I always thought that was a bit of a correlation, and New England's are just more like inoffensive to people. But I never would have thought the dudes would be less into it. Maybe they're that's interesting.
You'd be surprised. I still to this day get a cup. It's not all the time. It's definitely not all. Okay. Every once in a while, I will get a man that says that's a girl beer. And I'll say, I don't know.
It's 2025, big dog.
I don't know. I was like, do you want to try it? Or like even during Christmas, we have a rosemary lager that comes out. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, men will be more put off to that beer than the women. And I find that because it's a Helles base, a Helles lager, and then we add rosemary to it. Okay. And most people like a Helles lager, very approachable. And most guys will be like, no, that's a girl beer. And I'll be like, no.
But rosemary's a herb. It's not rose.
It's not. It's just a beer. It's actually really refreshing. Would you like to try?
I mean, at least you can offer that. Give them a try. Is it? Are they older gentlemen that are saying this? Is there like X age plus? Is that a
lot of find it's like middle-aged men to like middle-aged.
So is that 50 plus?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 44. I'd be very disappointed if there was dudes my age saying in the year of our Lord 2025 there's a fucking girl beer. That is the dumbest shit. I hate that. That is so. Because usually I feel like it's the other way around. Sometimes my girlfriend, she only likes Krispies for the most part, but I might be in there drinking a pink sour or something.
Yeah.
It's, like, who cares? I know. I find that like, it's funny. I guess it's a little ridiculous, but I didn't think people really said that. Maybe it's again because if there's a typical brewery, what do you call it? Like client customer. You guys get the atypical. Is that a fair comment? That obviously there's a bunch of people who go to the Exchange because they're like, I want good beer, but you're getting the walk by traffic of people who are just visiting this pretty town as well. So there's people who maybe aren't used to that, and they've got this old school mentality that it's sort of like anything that's yellow and fizzy, that's for blokes, and everything else is a girl beer, like type shit. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That it could just, okay. That's
We
pretty
also
funny.
get a lot of people from all over the world too, where like maybe lagers, ales are mostly like what they're
What's
drinking, whereas
consumed.
like a sour beer, IPA, it's more atypical. You know, like to see something like that is kind of out there, a little different. And then if it's fruited too, sometimes it's presumed as a girly beer to make it not as, you know, classic malt fizz, little bit of bitterness.
Yeah. I don't know why I just find it so absurd, but I mean, I guess if you're in Prague, like if you're from there or something, and everything is either a dark lager or a yellow lager, and
Yeah.
that's it, then anything else typically is consumed by women in that culture. Then I guess it's fair. Maybe it's just we're judging it through the lens of Western culture in Canada /
Yeah.
US, whatever. That's funny. That's a nice little like thing. But look, I applaud you both and the whole team for proactively taking that in stride and being like, not taking any offense to him, but like, all right, mate, all right, how about you just try this for a sec or try something else, and you sort of, laugh it off and I just couldn't imagine saying that to someone serving me and be like,
Yeah.
Rosemary's a Girl beer. Is that the episode name? Rosemary's a Girl beer.
Rosemary's a girl beer.
It's just so obscene. Like rosemary, dude. It's what you put on roast lamb. Like,
It caught
and
me
that
off
makes
guard.
yeah, I bet you probably didn't even have time to react and be offended. You just like, what? Yeah, and once again, the base is exactly the typical, masculine beer or whatever. But
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down. Rosemary's a Go, just in case. I don't know if we're gonna use that one. Just because it's kind of funny.
It's
It is funny. It's ridiculous. But okay, that's pretty sick. So there seems to be, is there a culture within the company of the gateway sort of beer concept? Is that something that's discussed, or is it kind of like you just kind of know that you're all helping the wider industry by introducing people and doing that soft touch, where if someone says something like that you can push back and be like, look, why don't you just try it? Or you give them a cocktail and then they end up picking out your beer, part of it. Like, is that like a discussed thing, or is this kind of just like an unspoken, like, we out here just doing a good work?
Our biggest thing, especially with Sam, is like he wants to teach everybody, so he really puts every way possible to kind of like teach them. Like, you tell somebody it's sour and they're like, ugh. So we're like, okay, it's a little bit tart, it's a little bit tangy. Like, you just try to find different ways, because the second they hear sour, they're kind of like, ugh. But that's kind of like our whole model at the Exchange. We're really like a teaching brewery, just because like Niagara College is right around the corner. We have so many other students and they're so eager to learn. And then we're really passionate about like our servers passing all the information over about each beer to each customer. So like that's where we have like a couple meetings a year, and we do different like fun tastings. We're sniffing different herbs, and then we're like, okay, now come up with like the wildest beer you could ever think of. Like, no wrong answer, disgusting, like just write it down, and then we'll discuss it, and then like weird things can come from it. But like we had that hot pepper IPA 10, and it was the hottest thing I've ever had. And people were buying it by the case, like it was crazy.
They loved it.
So there's just some things like we really like experimenting as well. So like there's really no wrong answer when it comes to all of us pitching in and helping, but it does come down to Sam recipe wise.
I think too, I like, especially when it comes to like questions or like saying things like, oh, that's a girl beer and whatnot. I learned a lot when I was in school from Ren Navarro. Ren is like a really close friend. I love Ren, and I learned so much from Ren, especially in an industry where it has always been predominantly male dominated, and even the consumers being male dominated historically, and now seeing a push with, more females, queer people drinking beer. Like, everyone's always drank beer. And
of course.
So for beer to be a strictly man thing, beer to be a strictly, it's kind of like you said, you kind of just laugh it off and you're like, okay, do you want to try the beer? Because at the end of the day, how you feel about this beer isn't going to change what the beer tastes like. It doesn't automatically turn masculine, this beer, or turn feminine. This beer is actually really well made. It sells really well, and if it's to what you would like taste wise, amazing. If not, we'll find you something else. So it's kind of like, as a server, just trying to get that training where you're trying to meet someone halfway, take the, I don't know, I'd take the feedback, I guess we'll say, and and meet them somewhere else and try and get the product to them in some way. Learning new tactics and ways to do those things.
That's dope, because I feel like that's like a challenge. I've been a server in the past as well. And I sucked. I'm so bad. I feel like it's like it's a skill set, hospitality, like bartending, like serving. I got a ton of respect for it, because I'd see people and the way the bartenders is kind of moving. It's like kinesthetic intelligence, where you just like know where things are. You're like, boom, another one, Jeff. No worries, Sandra. What do you need? Like they're just like boom, 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 and I'm just like, I can't do that, bro. Like it's too much. So I find that that's like a cool approach, that you're sort of like are able to sort of take it in stride when, because I guess they don't mean any offense by, they don't realize they're being offensive, I imagine, and just sort of like still focusing on the mission, which is getting everyone to drink beer and changing some minds, because kind of that's the win, I guess, at the end of the day, is like changing the minds. If they come in thinking a rosemary lager is a girl's beer and they leave buying a 6-pack of it, then it's like, well, that's a dub. Yeah, that's dope. I like
Let's
that.
just all enjoy beer and how it tastes.
Which is like why you go to a brewery for in the first place, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like, be open to something, particularly if it's outside of the scope of what you would normally drink. Like, there's a lot in there. We just judged which you would have participated in, Hunter, the Project Brew at Niagara College in August, and it was sick because they were the most creative beers I'd seen in a while, and they were all like really well executed. I was so surprised because on paper some of the stuff was like, oh, it's not going to be good. Nothing was shit, nothing at all. It was just really down to preference. Like the ones I wanted to win didn't win, but I don't think about it. They got like a scholarship or something, like, so I forgot, something like that. But it was just really cool to see that. Could have, you were saying before, Sarah, that you're getting a lot of students from the school and stuff, and now actually going there, seeing like we had our 10th anniversary event in May, and a couple of them volunteered to pour. So I met some of the dudes, and then they invited me and Tiff to come down and judge. And I was like, it was really nice. It was really nice. The food was so good. From the students. It was all student food. Everything was all the whole. And I found out afterwards that the students put the whole thing together, the concept, the flyer, we did a giveaway because they told, it was very cool. So seeing that level of creativity on the educational side, like when, we're still technically amateurs learning how to do shit. And then those are the people that are going to be in the industry. I was like, oh, this is really positive, because these people are just not, these students are operating with no sort of guidelines, or like, as far as like, oh no, I can't do that. Like, it's just doing whatever, and made it work. And I think that's a really good thing to bring into a company when you got the local people, obviously local as well. A lot of them probably living in St. Catharines or whatever, from what I could tell, and bringing that in. Anyway, yeah, I thought that's a cool other element. So you're getting the creative side of there, and then as far as the actual approach to the production, and then you've got the convincing gently of different people of what the possibilities are in beer.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to hear all of that. Thank you all for sharing that. That's dope.
No problem.
How do you feel? We've been talking about sour beers all flipping night. How you feel?
Yeah.
Shall we?
We shall.
Let's go. So I don't recall which one we said. Would you please remind me which one first?
We can do the spontaneous Chenin Blanc if you would like.
Yes, we can. That is this one. Yeah, that's probably better. And then there's the peach version, which is the bit more intense. Love it. These bottles are gorgeous, by the way.
Yes, they're French champagne bottles. They're very nice. They're very appealing to look at.
Oh, I can totally see about people wanting to walk away with this. It's got that full, like that What's that little finger resting in the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, with more information. Oh, sick. Bottled.
Yes,
The
so
bottling date.
that'll
Cool.
tell you when it was bottled and how long it can age for. The spontaneous series can age for 10 years.
That's dope. Can you see that? There we go. That's fire. So, excuse me. This is a spontaneous, meaning is this cool ship?
So we technically don't have a cool ship at the brewery, but
Okay.
we. Sorry, I'm trying to open up my bottle.
Yeah. So am I. I was trying to use this gorgeous thing right here, and I feel like I don't want to break it.
So yeah, unfortunately, the brewery is very small. We didn't have room for a cool ship.
That's fair.
But we basically. Here we go.
These are
It
corked.
is
These bottles. Oh, you don't. I'm gonna mute myself while you keep talking. There. I have to go.
Yeah, you have the fancy electric one. I have to do this. Yeah. So when I first started at the brewery, I had very limited knowledge on spontaneous beers. And then it was the first thing I noticed when I came into the brewery was the bottles on their sides. I was like, oh, is this wine? No, I'm in a brewery. And after with talking with Sam and learning a bit in school, the spontaneous series that Sam did is a little different. It's not 100% traditional style like they would in Belgium. It is, we have over 100 barrels, as you know. We have 10 Chardonnay, the rest red wine barrels. And for these ones, I believe we did a collab with Big Head Winery in Niagara-On-The-Lake.
Oh,
yes. So shout out to them.
Yes.
Yes. So we used our about a year old spontaneous that was already barrel aging. And we used freshly pressed Chenin Blanc grapes from Big Head, which they gave to us. And we were able to combine them together, let them sit in the barrels for a little longer to get that nice Chenin Blanc flavoring to it. And it came out as a really nice, I guess I should pour mine as well. It's a very nice pale kind of straw looking color, a little bit of like a golden haze to it, very slight. It's not very strong acidic on the nose. I feel like it's not as acidic as some of our other beers when you smell them.
It smells intense, but not like bonkers.
No, it's not bonkers. I believe Sam told me when we were talking the one day, and he said definitely the Belgian styles of the spawns are a lot more acidic than the ones we have, but they are still pretty acidic. I believe this one sits around, we have a sour scale that we made in our brew house for the menus. This one sits at about a 4, and the scale goes from 0 to 7. And so
it's more and more, it's based on that tart tanginess, I guess, of just more how intense or puckering, how intense it gets.
How puckering it is for us. Like we do like a little tasting panel, kind of like the brewers, to kind of get a general consensus of what we believe the sourness would be. So, and definitely as it's aged, like I said, I have to check. This was 2021. The acidity kind of goes down a bit as it sits. So when it probably first was bottled, it was a little bit more acidic than it is today. But
I'm excited. Oh, hang on.
So I find this to be very, very refreshing, not too overpowering acidity wise.
100% agreed. 6.5%. It's kind of like, the acidity is very, I wouldn't say very low, but it's not like you don't need to take Pepto after this too. Yeah, Tums. We probably will after the 3 of these tonight, but that's okay. I can buy that shit at Costco. We got plenty.
This one is definitely probably the least acidic out of the other 2 we're gonna drink, but
which is a good order then.
Yes, definitely still has that bit of like, you feel it on the tip of your tongue, and it's very refreshing. We also use for a spontaneous series before the brewery started, we had a yeast culture, a wild yeast culture that we let, as it's written, Niagara-on-the-Lake environment come after, and this wild yeast kind of took on all of the flavors and all the aromas. And we've been using this culture since the year before the brewery started. It's almost 11 years now. We've been using this yeast strain.
Does it make a difference? Because we've always kind of joked, we've been wanting to make sour, and this complete tangent, wanted to make sourdough, but to make a starter, I'm like, we're in Hamilton. There's fucking factories pumping all sorts of bullshit. I'm like, I don't know if I want to put sugar water outside and let it pick up all that nonsense. Does it make a difference where that culture is harvested?
I mean, it could, yeah.
So not even just for bread, but just for everything, all of this stuff.
I think definitely environmentally, depending where you are, will affect the almost like maybe even funkiness that you could get from the wild yeast. So maybe in Hamilton it will be very funky, but
the funkiest sourdough in the city.
The funkiest wild yeast you'll get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that location-wise, like where we are, Niagara-on-the-Lake, because it is very wine region area, it's a lot of, I guess, it's not over. I mean, see, the thing is with this yeast stuff, I have never done it personally, doing the wild yeast in like out in the wild, I guess you could say. So it is a very new process to me. And it's something that I want to learn more of. But I'm so sorry that I'm not answering your question probably to the best of my knowledge. It's something that, I mean, as I keep working in this industry, I'll learn more. So
it's pretty intense. That whole thing is very intense. The sour stuff, I didn't expect you to know everything at all. That was my random question, because we always we're like, oh, should we go down to just whatever Niagara-on-the-Lake one day and just bring a little mason jar of shit and just let it sit with us and go somewhere and drink, just to not have gross Hamilton factory air. But I was just always wondering if that was a thing. But it's extra cool to hear that the culture was harvested pre brewery, which is even cooler. So it makes it extra unique.
Yeah, so we actually brewed it a year before we opened at Silversmith.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and then we placed our jars in orchards, vineyards, and in Sam's garden. He's very proud of his garden, so I'm sure it just smells lovely.
I love that. I just think that's it's like terroir to a different level, because you got the terroir that we're talking about from the fruit, say in the IPA we just drank, and you got the terroir from Big Head, who I've been there before, but we were supposed to go the other week, and I can't remember what happened, but they're extra fire, so I was very happy to see this. And then you've got the terroir side from the actual yeast and from the culture that was all taken local, so it kind of doesn't get more. And the grapes obviously were grown by Big Head, so it's all hyper local.
Yes.
Which is kind of the coolest thing you can kind of do in beer, I think.
It's cool, especially in an industry that we're in, is to kind of work together. Other breweries will collab with each other. Even our mash that we use, we give to a local farmer. It's all to give back to the community, all to work together as a sustainable community. So Big Head was done with their grapes. What better use than to give them to a brewery where we could use them, put them in barrels, and make this amazing spontaneous blend. It's just all about working together.
It's so cool. It really is. It's the perfect way to do it. This is great. This is so bright and effervescent. Is it 6.8? The bottle says 6.8, Untapped says 6.5, but I think it might kind of be an older check-in.
It could be.
Some are tap and some are bottled. It depends.
And they can kind of vary.
Yeah.
Because
if they're reading the draft list, then it'll be different than what's on the bottle.
So go with what's on the bottle.
Mhm.
I imagine for this one. So this one's 6.8. Definitely doesn't taste it. It's so smooth, and like you guys were saying, that the acidity is really low. The grapes are not like overpowering it. Like it's certainly there, but it's like a nice balance, I guess is the easiest word. Like it's right in there along with what you would expect from like a spontaneous kind of beer, which is primarily what kind of like in your head you're looking for. And you got these like really nice grapes. Chenin Blanc, I'm actually not very familiar with those. Are you guys know much about them?
So I should, because my mother worked in the wine industry for so long. And she tried to teach me as much as she could before I worked at the LCBO. But it's a type of grape variety from France.
Okay.
And it has a higher acidity, so it works well with an acidic beer. They kind of blend together. Nothing's kind of
Okay.
going over the top. Usually Chenin Blanc grapes will be used for like sparkling wines usually.
Okay.
So it works together, having like a beer that's already nice and effervescent naturally from the fermentation. And it kind of just works nicely together.
That's dope. That makes sense. If it's extra kind of perfect if those grapes are made for like sparkling. So then
Yes.
it's better for beer. Just
Mm-hmm.
it feels more at home in that. Yeah, this is great. This is really nice to try. I don't do you because you both worked there. Maybe it's different, but is this a style that you both drink a lot? Is this something that you're sort of reaching for regularly, or is this kind of a bit more of a occasion type
I
of?
feel like this is one that's more like a sweet treat at night. I kind of like put it along with like an ice wine. Like it's definitely like sweeter, not as sweet as ice wine, but it's up there. But it's definitely like I call it kind of like I would have it with like dessert, or I would gift it to somebody that's like hosting. I feel like all of our sours are actually like the best host gift. They've probably never tried it
Sure.
before, and
They're so pretty.
it's just as good as wine. And the bottles are
Yeah,
gorgeous.
that helps a lot.
Mhm.
I feel I feel like I don't drink like farmhouse or spontaneous or mixed farm beers as much as I should, and when I do, I'm like, why don't I drink this shit more? I don't know why. I wonder if it's like a psychological thing that bottles is for special occasions,
That could
and
be it too.
you know what I mean. And you just kind of like always be like, oh no, it can't just be Tuesday. It needs to be a birthday, anniversary, New Year's, or something like that to have
Mhm.
something like that. But these are such a treat. This is so nice, and it's not particularly like it is a little on the nice sweet, like you mentioned, like a desserty type of thing. It's not crazy sweet though. This is all
No, it's subtle enough to like not hurt you, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people when they hear sour, they think it's really gonna hurt, but I like to make
not
it
even
very
close.
known
Yeah.
that these sours aren't like sour. They're just like nice and relaxing.
Relaxing is a good word for it.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of our sours too are like a little bit different than maybe other, not to say, oh, our sours are very different. It's more of like, I find that our sours are more on the drier side, dry, whereas there are a lot of sours that can have like a sweetness to them. I find that these ones also have a little bit more funk in them. We like our funk at the Exchange. So, and funk is
We like our
definitely
funk.
something that is not for everybody. So, it's definitely something that we teach to a lot of people about what funk can taste like and what the ranges of funk can be. Because we can have something as subtle as like our homestead farmhouse ale to like something like our lambics that are like extremely funky. Kind of just everything's leveled.
That's a good way to look at it. Different levels of funk. So within the levels, is it like that barnyard, like the actual like that horse blanket type
Yeah,
thing?
like I've smelled beers that actually smell like, not in a bad way, but like can very resemble manure almost. And
Okay.
because
Like grassy horse manure type
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
in the
Type shit, literally.
literally in the summer last year, Sam, Matt, and I would all try beers from all over the place. And at one point, Matt, one of the brewers, brought in some beers from Belgium. He had just went there, and I had smelled something that it was so funky that I actually never thought I could get the smell out of my nose. And it wasn't bad. It was just such a distinct, sharp, like horse blankets, grassy, and it was something I'd never smelled before. And that was like the highest level of funk I had ever smelled. Whereas when I smell something like this, I'm like, it's very subtle. It's not overpowering. It's not making me like sometimes when I smell sour beers, I can even feel it in my jaw if it's going to be super acidic, which is maybe something unique to me, but I can like sense it right away.
That's pretty sick that you're
Yeah.
able to sort of like have a physical response to it.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
start to salivate and my jaw kind of gets a sharp tingling in it.
No way. When it's acidic or whether it's funky?
When it's acidic, and then when the funk is like super strong.
Intense.
Yeah.
Right. That's funny. I
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I guess you're attuned to it, and then your body just probably knows what's going to happen when you drink it. So maybe it's pre-reacting.
Yeah, it's
That's fun.
yeah.
I love that. This is like, is this a fairly solid representation of a barrel-aged sour from the Exchange?
I think it's definitely one of a couple that are like, this is what we do. Like, this is what Sam lives to do, is these styling, like the style, the lambics, the Belgians. It's like the whole series of the spontaneous. Like, we have the raspberry, we have Chenin Blanc, we have a 3-year blend. And then the original, which is Sam's personal favorite, which was like the first one we had ever done. He always says like, this is like the best representation of what we would do all the time and what we continue to do all the time.
I love that. And that's why I was curious, because I was saying I hadn't tried anything in this realm from you guys before, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I know we've got a couple other slightly different versions to go. That is super dope. So maybe while we're drinking this, it'd be cool to tap into a little more of the barrel program just across the board. So 100 plus barrels, as we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are they stored off premise?
Yeah. So we have a warehouse, and it's, I guess, would you say, Sarah, it's still Niagara-on-the-Lake, or is it kind of like St. Catharines, Niagara-on-the-Lake?
It's like, yeah, like St. Catharines, Virgil area. It's not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have 100 barrels there. We had more, but we started to sell a couple of them. Just, we needed to lower
Make more room.
some,
They move on.
make more room. We had more stuff to put in the warehouse.
That's fair.
So we have about 8 bourbon barrels. We have 10 Chardonnay barrels, 5 gin barrels, and the rest are red wine, like old red wine barrels that we got from wineries.
All local?
Yes. Some of them are local. We have gotten some stuff from, I believe, out of the country, some of the barrels.
I guess the bourbon would have
Yes.
come from outside for the most part, yeah.
Yeah. But most of the wine barrels are from local wineries around the area. And then we have like some of the wineries are the Pearl Morissette winery, Big Head, Stratus, Southbrook, just kind of some of the local ones we've poached some barrels off of.
They're phenomenal. Stratus is our favorite. We've been to Pearl Morissette. They said we were the first ever repeat clients of their tap room when they opened up. Pearl Morissette's fire. You guys, it's cool to see you guys are choosing the fire when breweries are choosing the fire ones from wineries.
Yeah.
I like seeing that kind of like correlation, that the best in one area goes and works with the best in the other. That's fire. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our barrels were selected for a neutral oak kind of character. Okay. We didn't want them to have too much tannin overpowering, because we didn't want it to mess with the beer flavors too much. We wanted it to be as subtle, but you could pick it up slightly. But mostly the barrels are the home for our microbes that we are wanting for the beers, especially with our lambics and whatnot. Right. Most of the barrels have had Brettanomyces in them. Some have had lactobacillus, and some have had PDO. So they kind of range all over the place. It's fun going to the warehouse. It's fun seeing, beer go into this barrel that you won't see for what feels like forever. And every time you go and sample it, it tastes so much different than the last time you tried it. Because again, going from the college where you're mostly doing stuff in steel fermenters, and there are a select amount of smaller barrels, but getting to like do this full scale and seeing it from the time it goes into a year or so, and you for a minute forgot about that beer, and you're like, oh yeah, we're releasing this, and I can't wait to try it. And what does it taste like now? Because some spontaneouses, when you first try them, you're like, wow, what is this? And then Sam always says, you got to give it at like 6 to 8 months. And then that's when you really got to start judging it.
That's a fair point. We did it for our 10th anniversary. We did a collab with Short Finger in Kitchener, and we did a barrel blend. It was my first time doing it, and it was a sour blend. So the stuff from the barrels tasted the worst on its own. But then you blended that with some fresh stuff and then with something else as well. And then you have it. I'm like, there it is. Like the actual blending process is this whole other crazy skill set that I'd never been exposed to until this year. And I'm like, whole new respect for it.
It's a crazy skill. And I believe when I think it was a year or two ago when we did an International Women's Day brew, we had done a blended barrel. The name of it,
and then Rosa mixed together, and then it was called Gaia, and it was for International Women's Day, and it was also one of our charity brews that we put together. And it was a beer that we sold so fast we didn't expect it at all. It was light, gingery, and hibiscus, and it came out in the summer, and it was the fastest selling charity brew that we've ever had. And it's amazing and frustrating at the same time because you can't recreate that now. And we're like, well, there that goes. But it was nice while it was here, but it's gone now.
That is probably the worst part about craft beer, and extra the worst part about barrel aged beer, because you really can't recreate that. Like you could probably almost guarantee to recreate it. It feels like, oh, that sold really quick. Let's brew this porter again, this IPA again. But the barrel aged thing, that's done.
Yeah.
Not everyone understands that. Okay, that's cool to hear though. Was it bottles or was that cans for that?
Those were cans.
That's the cans. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about that shortly. Thank you for bringing that up again. Yeah. Okay. So have you been involved in any blending, Hunter, from your side yet, or is it still like you're probably getting there?
I'm getting there still. I was unable to attend the International Women's Day one. So I missed out on a blending experience about 1.5 years ago. But as I keep working there, right now I'm very part-time with Sam, but when I do work, I'm doing a lot of stuff. But mostly warehouse stuff right now is a little slowed down. It's mostly just pumping out all of our licensee orders and all that. But I'm hoping in the winter time when we have a lot of time to like go out and check some stuff out. And I'm also kind of in the works right now with Sam with maybe even creating a little brew project that I would like to see happen. But yeah, I've cleaned barrels, I've dumped barrels, I've pulled hibiscus out of barrels, which was not as fun as you would think it is. And I have yet to blend barrels, but soon enough.
Time is coming. The bourbon barrels, is that for stouts or is that for sours?
I believe it is for stouts. I personally haven't checked out any of the bourbon barrels. I have seen the gin barrels, which we did some cocktail-inspired beers with. But for the bourbons, I believe it's probably for stouts.
That would make the most sense. I was like,
Yeah.
as you were sort of describing all the barrels, I was like, I wonder how a sour would work in that. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, with Sam, I'm
Wouldn't.
sure he could make anything work.
It sounds like this gentleman knows his shit in pretty great. Well, I've had some fire ass whiskey / bourbon cocktails, so why couldn't it work?
Yeah.
In like a sour beer. Like
Yeah.
a whiskey sour isn't that like one of the most popular cocktails?
Yes.
Shit could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple beer cocktails that we've done that way. Most of them, I believe, are saisons.
Okay. In a bourbon barrel.
Yeah, which are
Fire.
tasty, but they very much so taste like cocktails as well.
Even just the raw saison probably does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Yo, I don't. Now we're talking. I don't think I've ever had a farmhouse or saison whatever in a bourbon barrel like strictly. That's sick. Yeah, I'm just picturing that could work. That's so fun. That's like, I don't know. I feel like that's super creative. That's super cool. I love that.
I feel like we just kind of blend everything and anything, and we're like, "What's this taste like?" That's what our International Women's Day was. We're like, "Oh, what's this?" Because he kind of let us have free reign, and then he showed us how to do the steps.
Okay.
But
So
you would kind of
y'all just all did it. Like he didn't really.
Yeah.
He just like, hey, this is how it goes. Go nuts.
Yeah. So each of us would have a cup, and he's like, "Mix however much, and then we'll see what tastes the best." We're like, "Okay," and then it like came to life. So that was actually really cool.
And then did you add, because you said it had ginger and hibiscus?
Yeah.
Did you add that, or was it more just you were doing the base first and then it was aged on?
So it was two totally different beers, and we're just blending all our different beers that have been in barrels for so long.
Okay.
So that's why we really couldn't recreate it, because we had like one and a half. Yeah. So we're like, let's play around with it. Let's see what happens. And it actually worked out very well.
That's dope. I love when that happens. The way that when you add, we did a stout collab as well. So doing the stout was even different because it was 2 barrels. So they mixed the beer with that, and they were like, we had raspberry, coconut, and vanilla and chocolate. So then we had to try and find the levels. So you do it and you put like whatever, I can't remember. It was like 50% raspberry, 30% that coconut, and then you do it. I'm like, oh, this raspberry's too much. Cool. So next one, dial the raspberry back. And it was just, oh, that's how, I just didn't know how it was done. So I imagine it probably would have been similar with that ginger, because once you've got that base, you've got to like test it on small amounts and then scale it up. But you've got these this barrel that tastes like that blends perfectly with this barrel or whatever. And it's mixing the adjuncts with the barrels and then figuring out which, like, there was some, this is just whatever, just because I thought it was interesting. There were some barrels of like toffee and fudgy, but because and I was like, oh, that sounds way better, because the ones we used were like more leathery, tobacco-y. But because you're putting all this shit in it, the ones that are already toffee and fudgy are way too hectic. It's gonna be too sweet. So you got to use the ones that basically start with no sweetness, and you're adding in that. I'm like, all right, I get it. It's so cool. I feel like it's one of the most underrated skills in beer, like the blending in and of itself, of like identifying when a barrel is ready and how it can taste, how it can sort of fit in harmony with another barrel is just crazy. It's so cool. It's like when you hear a singer do like a layer of harmonies, like sometimes you hear these middle ones, you go, that sounds ridiculous, but then you put it in 8 tracks and you're like, that's sick. I kind of feel like it's the same with beer. It's like sort of like you just got to understand the role that it's playing. And that's like a pretty crazy skill to hone, because it must be quite difficult to get that level of like, you know, barrels you got to wait. There's just time. Everything's just time. So you don't.
It's really a lot of trial and error, and
a lot of messing up, I imagine too. Hence the error, yeah. And just hoping you get it right, and then sometimes I imagine you just be like, if it's not fire, you just chuck another barrel and you add another little bit. But it's like figuring out, playing with it until you get it. And then also knowing that that's it, because a barrel is however many liters, and then once that barrel's done, it's, you know, what you're creating is like one and done.
Sometimes too, it's even just sometimes you think it works in the beginning, and then by the end, when you think it's the end time, and it doesn't work out, and you got to sometimes unfortunately dump them and start over again and try something else. And Sam, and just even being in this industry, has definitely taught me that you're not supposed to have any full feelings for dumping a barrel or dumping a keg. It's whatever, you can make it again. Well, there's something else. It's No hard feelings. Just try again next time.
That's a good approach, because otherwise you'd be. I mean, I guess sometimes it just doesn't turn out, and that's probably the
Yeah.
risk you're taking. If that particular barrel and the bugs that are in there, and that particular batch of beer, does it mesh well? Does it go? And it's just, there's so much chance, I imagine, in the
Yeah.
barrel world, that it's sort of like that. It's probably the hardest type of brewery to own, which is one of the ones that the ones that are strictly about that. And it's great. That's what I was kind of asking earlier about the diversification from your side. That the ones that I've just seen, there's so many barrel only breweries, like, not succeed and have to sort of shut the doors, which is super sad, because it's such a cool style. But it's like, I think it's just hard. It's just playing on hard mode, because you're dealing with so many challenges.
It's really cool to, especially having that, not lax, but mostly like, oh, we can do this again. Because when I was in school and you're doing your project brew, you're making your term brew, like, there is no starting over. It is, you are brewing this once and hopefully it went the way you wanted it, because there's no fixing it. And whereas this is, okay, it didn't turn out, okay, we'll do it again, we'll fix something, we'll figure out where it went wrong, put it in the spill book, we'll figure it out later, like
it's spell book,
or no, like our dumpage book or our spill.
Spill. I thought it was like some Harry Potter shit. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about no spell book. Why hasn't anyone told me about the spell book?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes, I guess it is. I feel like you have to be kind of less, let's say romantic, but less. You can't be too crazy about a barrel. It just is what it is. And thankfully, a barrel is a lot smaller than dumping a fermenter full of product that didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's small when it's like, but it's like, all right, if there's no saving it, it doesn't matter how much you blend it. This one is just, that's not it. It is what it is. And he's right to have that attitude. And I imagine he has that attitude because Robin has that attitude. And she's just like, you know what? It's all about the end product, right? You can't force it, and you can't go put out something that's mid or less than that, because people have an expectation from, you guys are almost at 10 years. Like you have a reputation to uphold, and you can't be putting out mid beers, particularly in these gorgeous ass bottles with these labels that are just so clean and like attractive. It makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. What percentage of the business is the barrel program versus the clean side? Ish. Like, it's like 50-50.
I think at one point it was 50-50. I think it's definitely changed now. I think because we do have 100 barrels. We used to have
not a ton, but yeah.
Yeah, we used to have more, but we have since dropped some of our barrels and whatnot. I think it's probably like 30
70,
30-70, or maybe even 40.
I would say like licensees do take up a lot with like our amber and like our local. We're very all over Niagara and Niagara-on-the-Lake. So a lot of it is like our amber, our fruit stand IPA, all the things that most bars are kind of scared to, like, not scared to buy. Whereas like our beer towns are buying like all our like different funky sours and spontaneous. So it's different all the time. I find local Niagara, they try to really keep it safe. Whereas the further you go, like Hamilton, Toronto, Oakville, like that way, it's a lot more sours tend to go that way. So it's got to be like 60-50, but more so our cleaner beers going out at the moment. But if you walked in and saw our wall, you would think barrel aged. It's just bottles on bottles on bottles. Yeah.
That makes sense about Beer Town, which is another great gateway location to do that. That's really cool that they're stocking your funky stuff, which is because they're a great gateway just for those. They're always in like suburbs a lot of the time, so it's like cool that they're offering stuff like your spontaneous beer to folks who aren't always beer nerds. I think that's like another great way to sort of get people tapped in, and that those are your customers. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah, a lot of the people definitely buying the beers for the bar really obviously love craft beer, but like a lot of them really ask for our sours, which is very nice to hear over the typical clean beers that are going out like daily. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit more clean, but there are those people that want the same like sour Belgian quite frequently from us.
That's great. I love that. I mean, look, it's not like you have a shit ton of competition in the province. Like, there's
Yeah.
not that many people doing it and doing it well, which is not a good thing. I feel like it should be a larger scene, but there's really not that many people doing it at sort of a high level and hanging their hat on it as such. So it's that's very cool to hear. I love that. How do y'all feel about a quick little bathroom break, and then we'll come back and get into the next, and let's talk about those charity beers.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right, we'll be back shortly. And we are back, and it is time for some peach. So we had the La Spontaneous Ale with the Chenin Blanc grapes from Big Head, and now we're moving into some peach vibes, which couldn't be more Niagara-on-the-Lake, could it really? And this is a special one because we've got a couple things that we need to talk about. We've got the charity beers. We've also got Sourpalooza, which is coming up a few days after this pod releases. So let's talk about this beer. Maybe we could, whatever makes the most sense, to go into Sourpalooza or the other way. So just like with the last one, this is a glorious cork and, it's not cork and cage, cork and cap.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
Man, this is like a coaster that you kindly said with the bottle top, and I feel like I'm gonna break it, but it's holding it. It's quite resilient. I just don't want to smack. I don't want to break the. There you go. Beautiful. I do appreciate the cork on this thing. This is super fun. And as well, I had it in the fridge. I saw on the side of the bottle it says keep it sideways, which I imagine is like wine when you want to keep it some liquid contact with the cork so it's fresh. And I had it in the fridge sideways. I'm like, oh, is it supposed to be like this? Before I looked at it, and then I'm seeing it now. I'm like, okay, I did it right. Thank God. I had them sideways the whole time. Talk to us about this beer. So this isn't even out yet as of the moment of recording.
No, it's not yet. It is going to be out for Sourpalooza. This one immediately, it is so much more funky than the Chenin Blanc. Like it smells more barnyardy, and this one is similar to the Chenin Blanc and the other spontaneouses that we have. It's dry, a lot drier.
Okay.
And it is aged on the fruit, like the peach, for about a year in the barrel.
Freshly peeled or whatever, or pitted.
Yes,
Same as the other. Yep.
sliced up. And this is in a red wine barrel. We did this one.
Okay.
And we roasted the peaches in the oven for the same kind of reason, to get rid of that water, give it the most intense flavoring we can. We kind of decided that it's more of like peach nectarine kind of flavoring, which is funny because it's all peach, but it does have this like nectarine-y kind of taste to it. But it is funky.
Straight funk.
Straight funk.
It smelled like I'm gonna take these photos before I sip it, but it's given straight funk right there. Now this beer specifically is it fair to say this is brewed for Sourpalooza?
Yeah, so every year Sam kind of chooses like one or two to set aside, and we release specifically for Sourpalooza.
Sick.
So we'll have this one, and then the next beer we'll be trying.
Okay, amazing. And the next one is so fresh that
There
didn't
isn't
even
even a
get
label.
labeled. That's how fresh this is. I'm here for it.
Labeling it today.
Label it. Which you're gonna have to tell me all those details as well to make sure I get that right. Okay, so this one is just called Peach Spontaneous Ale.
Yes.
It is 7%. It is, as we're sort of saying, so it's red wine barrels for 30 months, and before the addition of peaches, secondary firm with the fruit brings out the acidity of fresh ripe peaches and notes of nectarine, as you were saying there, Hunter. Love it. It is stunning. You know what? I'm gonna sip it before I take the picture. Cheers, legends.
Cheers.
Yeah, the nose is just funk and peach.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, so this is a lot more hectic than the last one.
Yeah.
In the best possible way. Definitely gonna need the Tums for this. Worth it. Is it not though? Is it not worth it? So this one, this base, is this the same base as the the last one?
Yes. So it is, the grist is Pilsner malt and raw on malted wheat as the other ones.
Oof, my God, that's gorgeous. And this, you've got other, without going back into, I think on Untapped, I think I did see earlier, but there was other, with this base, you've got different fruit. Like this is, the big head one is one of many different ones you've got with different fruits across the range, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have another spontaneous with raspberries, and we
Amazing.
also do another lambic style called Creek, and it is with cherries.
Okay.
Yes.
And are these all just sort of occasionally pop up? Is that usually how it works? Not year round or anything? It's just...
So I believe these were all brewed, like, so with the exception of the peach, like most of them have been brewed. Most of the spontaneouses were brewed probably 2018, 2017, aged, and then put in bottles. And we still have been going through the inventory as the years have been going on, because these bottles can age for so long. Like they can age for about 10 years. So I believe Sam, technically the speech spontaneous is one of the newer ones we've done. So we are still brewing spontaneouses. We are still probably going to continue to brew spontaneouses, but the rate in which we brew them is a lot slower than any of our other beers.
Gotcha. Is that just because of the time that it takes as opposed to other different types of barrel-aged sour beers, the spontaneous specifically? Because if I'm not mistaken, it's a type of the barrel-aged sours.
Yeah, we also have in general a lot of SKUs of beer. So when it comes down to but selling out of our beers and whatnot, it's kind of just selecting what we would like to make the next SKU, or what we have room in our barrel house for. Because our barrel house is top to bottom all varieties of beer that are just waiting to be bottled. So it's like there's a bunch of Flanders in there. There's a bunch of different pie series. There's a bunch of different. It's like it's kind of just yeah.
What's a pie series? PI is in like 3.14 pie.
Yes, yeah. So we have a peach pie, we have a blueberry pie, and we had a key lime pie, but it sold out.
I'm not surprised key lime's a goat. Okay, that's sick. This is so good. So this is like, why is this more acidic than the last one?
I think it's more acidic because it's very new as well. Like it's a very young spontaneous, whereas the Chenin Blanc is a little more aged. It's a little older. Also, the peach could cause a bit more acidity to it, but I think in line with most spawns, they kind of sit around the same acidity depending on how long they've been aging for or whatnot. But I think the Chenin Blanc has dropped its acidity a bit because, again, it's been 2021 was when it was brewed, put in the bottle at least.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That it takes, so it's like bottled, and it's bottle conditioned for a few years essentially. Okay. I love it. This is awesome. So this one specifically will be available next week, which is right before the event.
Yes.
And the event is next Friday and Saturday, the
10th and 11th.
10th and 11th.
Yeah.
I was going to say a different date. Okay, perfect. I got some cork in my, I didn't do a great job with the cork. Okay, sick. And so people can get this at the event, but just before the leading up to the event as well?
Yeah, so it'll be released Friday in our tap room. Our tap room will be open all weekend still. The rest of the brewery will be filled with the festival happening. So you can get it online or at the brewery as of next Friday.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantastic. This is so good. I feel like there's something about peach, and particularly like knowing that what you did with it. You took the seed out and cut it up and roasted it and did all this shit to do it, and knowing it's all the fresh local stuff is I don't know, isn't this what craft beer is all about? Like, it's beautiful. It's so fantastic.
Tell you too. You got to come into the brewery when we're roasting the peaches and the apricots. The brewery never smelled better. I'll tell you that.
I bet. Plus that, maybe with the mash going on, so a little
Oh,
peach
yeah.
pie thing going down.
Yeah.
Let's go. I love it. This is fantastic. So maybe let's get into the event a little bit, and then for the next one, we can talk more about the charity stuff, which is important as well. So the event now is how many years running? This would be
This is the 6th or 7th. This will be my 4th Sourpalooza. And every year has looked different for Sourpalooza. It started, it was big. It was like height of sour beer, height of craft beer. And then we got to COVID times where it was a Zoom Sourpalooza at one point where we had brewers online talking about their beer, which is actually pretty cool. And then it slowly came back to in person. And then one year we kind of did like an at-home Sourpalooza where you had your own mat and you did kind of like a snakes and ladders, but we called it funks and ladders, where you try different beers at each spots, and it had the QR codes and we just shipped you all the beer. And then this year we're bringing it back. So it's going to be in person, 2 days and 5-hour sessions.
That's fire. And there are, if I'm not mistaken, 8 guest breweries that are pouring.
Yeah. So
alongside plus Exchange, obviously, so 9 total.
Yeah. Yeah. So we before we were very Niagara region, and then this year we kind of went with I wanted to kind of make it like a sour beer road trip. So it's kind of the places that you would visit when you're like going on vacation or just like slightly out of town, mixed with like some breweries that we've had in the past. So this year we're gonna have Slake, Third Moon, Muse, and we call them our sibling brewery because they're very similar to like our style. All My Friends, Dune Hopper, Merit is always with us bringing waves, Flux, and then Bellwoods will be our non-alcoholic Jelly King, and us. And we will personally have our 8 taps running. Half will be clean and half will be sour.
Amazing. That's a really fun lineup. I feel like all of those breweries is a mix of like, I know like AMF and Third Moon and stuff are doing more like the smoothie vibes. But then you got like Slake. I know they have their like barrel program as well with all their funky stuff. Muse, obviously, as you mentioned. So that's like a nice sort of like, I imagine those guys are bringing like smoothies. That's kind of like
It's a nice mix of like every kind of sour you can have, really.
All things sour, which is kind of money because you kind of like, it's kind of cool to like, you try something like this beautiful beer that's just so like classy and like beautiful. Like this is such a wonderful beer. And then you have a smoothie, which I fucking love smoothie. I drink them all the time. So like, and it's like, it's a whole different type of experience, a bit more chill. It's a bit more like casual. So you kind of got like, and less acidic a lot of the time, and maybe a little more sweet where you got something like this, a little more funky. And you've got sort of different vibes, I guess is what I'm trying to point out, of sours, which is probably great as a drinker to kind of bounce between. Have something that you need some Tums for, chill out, have some now, boom. Plus you got your clean stuff there as well in case you just want an amber ale or whatever.
Yeah, so like really like our brewery, we kind of really wanted something for everyone because we know not everybody's sour isn't everybody's thing. So like you have a couple friends. You have a couple friends and you want them to come with you, but they're like, I don't really drink that stuff. So we wanted to make it very versatile. So every brewery will bring a sour and a clean. And then we will also have like 4 clean and 4 sour. So it's a good mix. And then you're not getting heartburn constantly. We understand. We've heard in the past being like, can we have a clean beer? Can we have like a palate cleanser? You really need something halfway through. So that's where we went this year. That's
a really good point. I imagine if you do have a whole bunch of sours all in a row, then it could get a little hectic. But the barrel aged stuff could get a little hectic, just like you could probably get diabetes if you had only smoothies or whatever. So it's kind of like a nice balance of like being able to bounce between clean, whether I imagine some breweries are bringing IPAs and
it's all like everything a little bit different. Like we've even got like a stout thrown in there. It's just something for everybody, literally.
That's perfect. I love that. And the Saturday session is 12 to 5. Friday session is it
4 to 9?
4 to 9. That's a great time actually. When we did ours, we did 4 till 7 and then 8 till 11, and nobody wanted 8 till 11 at first. Everyone only wanted the 4 till 7. So I think just people are a little more on the earlier things. So 4 till 9 is like a great time. That's really good.
And it is 5 hours, so you do have like you can enter whenever
Plenty of
you
time.
want. If you work, like you still have that time. So we just extended it both ways, just so if like you are busy at some point, it is Thanksgiving weekend as well. You can squeeze some time in even. Yeah.
And how does it work? So you buy a ticket. Is it token based, or is it the ticket is unlimited? What's the situation?
So we were always unlimited before, but this year we switched to a token based one.
Okay, so lower upfront. Yep.
So when you get your ticket, you get a water bottle, so you can have water throughout the whole thing. Your tasting glass that you could take home with you, and then you start off with 3 tokens, and then from there you can go through and purchase, and then that also gets you food as well. And we serve odd bar pizza at the brewery, so we'll have that, and then we'll also have like other snacks, like pretty hearty stuff
to keep those that pesky heartburn at bay.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and I kind of feel like I like that method myself. I like the idea of sort of you don't have the pressure to feel like, hey, I spent X amount of money, I got to get my money's worth, and you're just like, fuck it, as opposed to like, hey, let me get whatever, a few bucks a token, get a nice healthy pour, and then you're good, and you can have as many or as few as you like. I like that a lot. I think that's the move. I think in where you guys are as well, that makes a lot more sense. Was there a reason that you changed over? I'm just curious because I find that like it's sort of like there's so many opinions on sort of the way that it works, and every drinker has their own thoughts on it. And I think that's completely fair. I'd be curious, was it just more like was there feedback from people that, hey, it would be cool if we could just pay less upfront?
It's like a handful of things. So some like people were just drinking way too much, way too fast, and it got messy pretty quickly. And then
I see your face there, Hunter. I know.
Yeah. And then the other thing is like it's a lot of sour, it's a lot of barrel aged, so it's like a higher price to bring these beers to our festival. So for the all-inclusive drink as you can, the ticket price was a lot higher, and we didn't want that, so we brought it down more and then did the token system instead. So we have had people in the past ask for like more of a token system just so they can like be picky, choosy, whatever. And then they like leave with what they kind of like wanted.
Yeah, and I almost feel like you're more, what's the word? Not decisive, but like intentional with like, if you're got this like open ticket and you can be like, you have everything, maybe you don't appreciate because you're like, I don't know, I paid for it. Give me that, give me that, give me that. But if you're like, well, I got my lower entry ticket to get in, which is fair. And then the tokens, it's like, well, you're going to be more picky and you're going to be more intense. Like, I really wanted to try that one. Maybe you study the guide beforehand. You know the beers that'll come out because I believe they'll come out. Will the beer list come out before?
No, so we kind of make it like a surprise.
Oh, that's fun. There.
Yeah, that's so we don't release like the full beer. Also, partially because like sometimes it's a very last minute, like, oh, just kidding, we need to send this one. It's happened a lot in the past, so we kind of like thought it would be more fun. If people just kind of saw it as they came. And then also each station we have our staff pouring. So they're fully trained on each beer. Sam writes a bunch of notes, then they write notes, and then we get notes from each brewery. But at each station we also have QR codes that you can scan, and it'll show you like all the notes from the brewery on the page, and then a direct link where to buy the beer as well. So if you like That's it's right there.
So you can go, whether it's LCBO, whether it's order from the brewery direct, you can go fetch it later.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's really cool. That's a really thoughtful approach to a festival. Like, it's particularly, I liked it as well that it's a themed festival with sours being the primary thing. But this was my first hearing that, obviously, because we did a giveaway that we launched last week. So I was obviously reading up when I was writing the caption, and we talked, obviously. So I had all the details that you provided, but I didn't know that. I think that's dope because you've got just as many sours, but you got like enough other options for the cut, which is probably some that, being this 6th or 7th time around, you're probably like, all right, people need to kind of like,
every year we evolve a little bit it's always different. And like this year we're gonna have live music as well. It's just gonna be a good time, like lawn games, something to do the whole time you're there.
Do you have a lawn area?
So we have a back patio, like kind of stoned area that we put
Cool.
up our tents, and then like the live music will be out there, and it's right beside King Street in the park. So you have like the best
Sick.
view, and then you get to drink a bunch of beer and walk down Queen Street, and it's just so pretty. So,
You're allowed to walk down the street with it?
well, not with it, but afterwards,
With the feelings
and
of
then you get to go shopping and spread the local love.
it.
After you're done drinking and you put your beer back, then you can go do what you would
Yes.
like.
Totally. Make sure you consume some pizza as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fire. I love that. That's really, really cool. What, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I was about to ask, how did this start? But I mean, Sourpalooza to you guys, it makes sense. It was just more like, hey, let's do a sour for, I mean, I guess it was before both your times, but
Yeah, I know it was one of our first sales reps actually had the idea because all these different breweries were having like their own mini kind of beer festivals. So he's like, well, no one's doing a sour beer festival, so why don't we? And Robin instantly loved it, and we've done it every year since.
that's dope. I like it. Do you know what I think, man? Like we've been looking into, because we obviously the pod, we have a series called The Business of Beer. We talk about all more industry type stuff. And I really think the future of festivals are brewery run festivals. They seem to be happening more. And now I'm very happy to know that this is, because going into the contest, I thought this was the first year. And I looked into it. I was like, oh, sick. It's been around for a minute. Because I wrote it in like inaugural Sourpalooza. I'm like, let me check that. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, my bad. But I just think it's like, I think it's so cool because there's a different level of buy-in on the brewery level. And it's super cool as well if people want to start another festival. I got no issue with that at all, but I feel like that the way that the things are trending is that it's sort of going towards that brewery run festival where it's like the brewery is directing it, so it's a Sourpalooza from a brewery that's known for their sour beers. So already that makes sense. And then you're bringing in, like when you sent me the list, because you're like, it's coming out when we decided to launch the contest. It was the week of the launch of all of the different participants, and I wanted to make sure I tagged them and showed that off in there, so I didn't want to do it beforehand. And once you told me those lists, I was like, every single one of them, like, boom, makes sense. Like everything was aligned. So I was like, sick. This is a thoughtful process, and now you're telling me even more about it, that you've got the ones to cut it, like a clean beer from each brewery as well, that it mean they're all going to be different. Shouts to that kitty in the background.
Yeah.
I love cats. So it's like I think that's just really, I don't know. I think it's cool, and I kind of like, I imagine that's sort of really where people sort of attention is going to be going. Like, if you're going to go to something like this, you're going to be more attracted to this festival because there's a tie-in from, if you're whatever, whether you're a visitor to Niagara-on-the-Lake or you're a local and you love Exchange, you're like, well, like you said, Muse is kind of like a sister brewery. You got all these other breweries that do similar stuff that are in different areas that are going to bring in maybe people who live out there don't get to try Third Moon or my friends because they're all the way in Bloomfield much. So they're like, oh, cool, I get to discover these new folks. I've always wanted to try them, and they're all there. And you just, because of their connection with you, and they wouldn't have done it if you didn't have a relationship. And I don't know. There's something about that just really like makes sense.
Yeah, in past years we kept it very local and like the same couple breweries over and over again. And I was like, can we just switch it up for 1 year and bring out like a bunch of people from the outside that like people won't go see? A lot of our locals stay very local all the time, or they go to Florida, either one. But
they're the ones with the Christmas wreaths on in June. Like, you're not back yet. Okay,
yeah.
So bringing, like, we really like helping other, I always call it mom pop, but just like smaller, I mean, a lot of these places aren't small by any means, but just like the smaller guys in Ontario, independent. And we really like helping each other out, especially like in the Niagara region. But like, I think pushing that out more is just like something special, bringing in like those smaller guys and helping each other out back and forth. And like all of us want to try these anyways. So again, it's a collab effort. So a lot of like, okay, where have you been on a trip, and where do you always need to go when you go like towards Scotland or towards Picton, or when you go to the cottage, where do you go? And that's where a lot of it came from.
That's dope. Also, Flux is extraordinarily underrated with all of that stuff. So it was really cool to see them on there as well. I think that's super cool. Was there any collabs that you guys did for the event at all?
No, a long time ago, we did do, I believe, a Jolly Pumpkin one. They somehow managed to do that. I think it was just kind of like a recipe collab because bringing over the border is a whole thing.
That's
Um,
usually how it goes. Yeah.
yeah, but since then we haven't really done too much. It's a lot of just like showcasing other breweries' beer.
Okay, that's fair. Is it interesting to do that, or is it kind of like it doesn't really matter as long as they're there? Who cares? Type shit.
Honestly, it's kind of fun because like we need to coach each staff into like tasting each beer and like helping them with their notes and everything. So we kind of make a night of it where we all kind of sit around and taste each beer and go through it, write notes, help each other out, and then that helps us at the festival to then like really explain the beers to people more in depth, so they feel like they really got like a lesson out of it. Because it always comes back to us trying to be like a teaching brewery. We really want to share that knowledge of the beer. We don't want to just like serve it. So it comes back full circle every time with Sourpalooza. And then it is one of the only festivals that I've really seen a lot of people with like pocketbooks and taking notes of each one. Like they are like, there's people that are really, really into it, and it's great to see. And they'll talk to you and like talk your ear off and tell you things you never even could even think of about beer. And it's just interesting. So like this brewery really brings a lot of like really avid like beer drinkers together, because sour is very niche right now, where like before it was pretty big, but it's pretty like a small market. But this is why we like Sourpalooza, because it brings all those people back in, and like a lot of people that work at different breweries come and like chat with us, hang out, swap beer. It's fun.
That's dope, and that's a good point. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. So when there is something that celebrates that style, it's going to draw those people out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come through. They're going to be excited about it because they get to try a whole bunch in one place and talk to the people. And are the people, all the people pouring for the other breweries, are the other breweries going to physically be there, or they're not?
Not this year. It's going to be all our staff, but they send all of like their tasting notes, and the brewers write down a bunch of different things. And then like that's when we spend that night going over each thing.
Is that next week for you guys?
Yeah.
Are you excited for that?
Next week's gonna be a long week.
Are you both pouring? You're both working it?
I will be running around shooting photos and letting people in, and Hunter will be pouring.
Yes. That's dope. Events are you got to be good at it. So I feel like if you're good at the hospitality side, you're good to go. Events are so hectic. Good for y'all. That'd be fun though. I feel like it's a vibe. I feel like if you got it's cool that you got the staff pouring, because then there's already camaraderie with all the people around, so you're able to help each other out and like sub in if need be or whatever. And you already know the lay of the land because it's your spot, your home sort of brewery, so you're able to kind of like move around, change kegs or whatever if need be. How does it? Do you have like? Are you pouring cans or is it like jockey boxes type thing?
So we get cans and bottles sent in from the different breweries, dope. And then like I'm not sure about this year, but some years we've had some casks just laying around. So we've had casks on tap. We've had we always leave our taps open. So like it's just a big mix of everything.
And the event space you're saying upstairs and then the main brewery are both open for the whole thing?
Yeah.
And then outdoors.
And then like the outside patio as well, yeah.
Okay, so is it like stations, just to paint the picture for folks? Is it the stations where they were like each brewery has a station with, that's where you go to get that, yeah? Yeah, so they're stationed all over the brewery. So there might be like I believe Muse is like in the beer garden where like the games are and the live music is, and then when you go up the stairs, it's multiple tables of different breweries, and then there'll be one downstairs. So it's kind of like I call it like a brewery open house where you just walk through the whole thing and just like taste and hang out and like have a great time. That's cool. I like that. And people can just wander around and discover new stuff and be like, give me a pour of that. Yeah. They get their tokens. They're good to go. That's really fire. The people who won the contest were amped about it. That was dope. So I kind of feel like I'm getting the vibe that, and there was a really decent like number of entries. Oh, excuse me. So I took that as like, all right, people are very aware of this. And Excited. It seems like a really fun thing that probably doesn't like. It's just this is the annual thing. It's only in October. Has it been October every year?
So usually we do it in May, April, and then it's our anniversary. But this year we really pushed it into October. Yeah, different seasons. See what happens.
Oh well, fall is kind of beautiful. Yo,
Yeah.
has it
Well,
not been? I mean, now it's October in an hour and a half, but how dope has September been? Like the weather has been bonkers.
yeah.
Good.
And May
Yeah.
is very rainy, so we're like, maybe we move it for a year and see how that works. So
I kind of think it's a good choice because yeah, May sucked, June sucked, July and half of August were 47 degrees every
yeah.
day. Then the second half of August sucked, and then September's been the best has been all year, like the best of the summer. It's crazy, and when everyone's kind of chilling and back to action, it's kind of like perfect, kind of like going out patio weather and stuff. But I think you get a great crowd for that. That's fantastic. So just remind it's next Friday and Saturday, October 10th and 11th.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure, and tickets will still be available via.
Yeah, so tickets are available through our online store, exchangebrewery.com. And then if you listen to the podcast and you get the code, if you use BAOS 50, you get 50% off our few remaining tickets. So that's next week. Try to get it as fast as you can.
I'm gonna put this at the top of the description too, so make sure I'll be like, yo, get this now. So we can do that. So this pod will come out Wednesday and the event is Friday.
Mhm.
So 2 days before, but enough time to grab
Yeah.
the tickets, which is perfect. And with that, should we do the big now this is like this next one's the official festival beer, is that right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So this is our Flanders Red Reserve.
Yes, which is, as we were saying earlier, unlabeled.
Unlabeled.
That's an honor right there to get an unlabeled beer.
Fresh
What's
out
it
of the
actually-
box.
Fresh out of the box. What's it actually called? Does it have an exact name?
It's called Flanders Red Reserve, is what we're calling it.
Okay.
Just plain simple.
Here for it.
750 bottle.
$7.50. Also, the official. Is it going to work?
There you go.
Sourpalooza grass. Look at that. So this is a taster glass everybody gets.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's this? 6 ounce?
Oops.
5? 4?
I believe
4.
4? Maybe 4 with the head. Because it's like round. Sometimes like the taster glasses are so funny with the
Oh,
sizing.
mine. Cork doesn't want to come out.
You got to coax them out sometimes, those damn corks. Oh, this one has a cork too? Of course it does. Let's go.
There we go.
Whoa. I think it's just like, that's awesome. That like snapped the side of the bottle thing. This is, whoa. This thing's like aggressive. I like it. It's putting up with it. The exchange, can people buy this at the brewery? They should go get it.
Yes. Yes.
This is pretty handy because you got a nice coaster and you're like, oh, what? Oh, I think it's like the bottle cap is cracked. Okay, all right. Check this. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Like the bottle broke.
Oh.
That's why it was doing that. Hey, yo. Okay, because it's been probably sitting for a bit. Okay, I got to make sure I got no glass.
Yeah, be careful
glass.
that there's no glass in your bevy.
No glass in the bevy because that would be dangerous for the old gullet, right? I don't need that problem.
What a way to end the podcast.
Hey, isn't that the beauty of this type of beer where the product sits in? Okay, a little tissue here. The product sits in a bottle for, I imagine, a hot minute, right?
Yeah. This is actually my second time trying this beer since it's come out.
Ooh.
So see if
Has
it's
it
a little
changed?
different.
Yeah, give it a crack. Oh, this is so funny. Think this will work? How is it? Talk to me.
It smells wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get like plum, fig, the classic Flander
Yeah.
aroma. It's got a bit of a balsamic-y nose to it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one here was barrel aged in red wine barrels. for about over 5 years. So this one's been sitting. It's
That's crazy.
so along with the 5 years in a barrel, it was bottle conditioned for a year as well. And then you can expect, like I said, kind of like similar Flanders aroma and flavor. So the balsamic fig, some people get plum, raisin. It's kind of up to you, your palate. With this one though, it's not super red. It's more like a brownish with how long it's been sitting.
Okay.
In the barrel slash the bottle conditioning, it kind of is a bit more. I wouldn't. It's like brownish red a bit with my limited lighting in here, but it's still got a wonderful color to it.
Yeah, this is on point for Flanders Red to me. Oof! Look at that. Look at the head. Nice.
This one I find
Woo!
is very acidic in the front, and then it almost like mellows out immediately. Like the acidity to it, it doesn't linger.
And is that a feature of perhaps the being in barrels for, you said, 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. Definitely can contribute it to it, because after just drinking peach spontaneous, this is like, yeah, it's got the acidity to it, but then it like is almost washed away with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like with like the barrel side or the vinegar, or
It is. Could be from the barrel side. I just think that this one overall is not as acidic as our other stylings. Yeah.
Which makes sense. I would say typically it'd be fair to say the Flanders Reds are not as crazy acidic.
No, they're
some of the other ones.
I find they're more maybe in the middle a little bit. It's pardon me. It's
Let's go.
Not as overpowering as acidity was.
This is fantastic. I love Flanders Reds. Is so fire. This is great. So just from my notes here, so aged for 5 years.
Yep.
In red wine barrels.
Yes.
And then bottle conditioned
for a year.
For a year. That's right. Is there any other additions or anything else to? This was bottled November last year.
Yes, I remember bottling them. I remember our whole setup and being like, "Oh, what are we doing today?" And Sam was like, "We've got a reserve we're gonna be putting out next year." And I was like, "Oh, next year? Okay, let's see how long I can wait."
Do you guys get to try it along the way?
I tried a bit of it when we were just bottling it, just like pre-bottle conditioning. But that was like last November, and what I remember from it is very limited. I remember being excited for a Flanders back, because right now we have a dual tone multi-frequency, which is a Flemish ale and a spontaneous mix right now. Okay. But to have a straight Flanders right now is kind of exciting to have.
Hell yeah. What's the ABV?
It is
7.
That is 7.
7?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It felt like a 7. Like the last one was 7, and I was like, if this would be less than that, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
This is great. The color is awesome. Yeah, like that balsamic sort of apple cider vinegar type of thing is just super balanced. It's nice and malty.
Yeah.
A little funky and acidic, but without being over the top. So smooth, creamy.
It's very smooth. Yeah, especially with the aging process, like 6 years in the making of this guy, it definitely was a little more bright red when we first started, and now it has kind of a little brownish, little brown red.
Is that arguably more on spec even for the style?
Especially, well, just with like the aging process alone, because the Flanders will be like a darker red, but this one has a bit more brown tones to it. And just from talking with Sam a couple of days ago, it's just naturally occurring just from sitting in those barrels for 5 years, and then the bottle aging as well.
It's kind of like just it does it to it, which will make
Yeah.
sense. Is this a style you guys make often at all?
We do Flanders, we do Flemish. Yes, we have done this a couple times. When I first started, we had, I believe, a Flanders that was available in a bottle, and then we had the blend of the spontaneous and the Flemish, the dual tone multi frequency we call. Um, but it's nice to have a straight Flanders back again. We had an Oud Bruin for a while.
Nice. And that was okay. I see. There's the Flanders C2 Flammagranate. That's awesome. The Flanders Raspberry Red and Flanders Red, which is probably the OG one, I imagine.
Yes, that was before my time.
Okay, yeah, that one's still around. It says, but the other two, it says no longer in production. So they must have been like one-offs that were. Oh, cask special, July 14, 2017. Damn.
Yes.
That's fun. Belgian amber with fresh pomegranates. All right, shit.
Some fun stuff before I was there with the Flanders.
Yeah, they ain't messing around.
We got to bring it back.
Yeah, I feel like it's a oh shit. It's a bit of an underrated style. I'd never appreciated. We did this lunch thing I lived in Montreal for 10 years. It was Montreal with Rodenbach in like 2019 at this fancy French restaurant. I didn't really like Flanders Reds before then. And then they had the master brewer from like a 200-year-old brewery come out, and we did this pairing with these French food. And I was like, oh, I'm sold now. Like Flanders are like some of the I love it. I appreciate it so much. I feel like it's just like a style that's I don't know. I feel like I needed to be educated on it a little bit to appreciate it. Beforehand, I didn't. So there'd be some people who are just like sorry, I knocked the mic there. Once you really like understand it enough to sort of be like, okay, I see what's going on with this style here. Now I appreciate it, and if I ever see any sort of Flanders Red, I typically would reach for that. So I was very happy to see that this was the big dog, particularly in the 750. Nice shareable bottle, or you can take that, sit down quietly, sip it over an evening. It's, yeah, it's cool. I was very happy to see this.
I definitely was a style I had to get used to at first. It was very almost not shocking, but more of like, okay, this is very malt forward, a little fruity forward, like dark fruits. Why is it sour too? And and it's actually just something I've learned to really not learn, but have come to appreciate the styling and the process that goes into this stuff. And it's a nice fall, I feel, beer. Perfect time for right now.
I can see that for sure. I feel like it's totally that warming kind of like dark sour without being over the top.
I think it's the red wine barrels that make it very cozy, because you definitely taste it at the end.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like a touch tannic in that back end. Yeah, that's a really good point. I feel like once you're into it, it's over. This is beautiful. Is this one going to be pouring? I imagine pouring at the event too.
Yeah.
Yep. Draft or bottles?
Draft.
Sick. Flanders Red on draft. Fuck yeah, that's great. I love that people can buy bottles to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. I love it. This is fantastic. So then the other major thing we wanted to make sure we get in tonight was the charity aspect of the charity beers that we were talking about on email. And you mentioned that briefly before, Sarah. So do you want to maybe like just break down like how that works and what that's all about?
Yeah. So over the past like 4 years, around when I started, we decided to choose a can and attach a charity to it. So every year around now, we sit down with managers and staff. We have people write in any charities or programs, anything that they're passionate about, to see what we would like to attach to a can for that year. So, for example, we just sold out of mine. So I wrote in for my daughter. She's autistic. So we attached Autism Ontario onto a can called Sensory Overload. We sold it over 4 months, and we raised $3,045 for it. It was a delicious Marzen, and it sold
Amazing.
so fast. So it's really important. Like things like Autism Ontario, they take our kids out on all different activities. They help families figure out all their funding. They like you're just a mess after diagnosis hits, so they really like pick you up. Or like, here's what the forms mean. Here's this. Here's that. They really are like your community from now on. So that's why I chose Autism Ontario. Currently, I think it's going to sell it this week. We have neural pills. It's for glio. I'm going to completely butcher this. Glioblastoma cancer. Our taproom manager, Kat, she's actually lost a couple people from it. But this year, she lost her aunt from it as well. So we tied that to a can. That will be flying off the shelf this week. And then we've done a handful of them. One really close to us was actually our humans lager that we did this year. And it was going to Heart Niagara, and it was for our old salesperson, Brian. He passed away last year unexpectedly. So we did a big fundraiser for that through our beers. You heard us talk about Gaia. We did that for the NPCF to help clean up Niagara. A lot of these are very, very local. So we try to put money back into the community. Robin helps us donate to causes that we really care about without just handing us money, basically. And then when we do this, actually the other day, a woman came in and she was talking to one of our servers, and she's like, I actually have glioblastoma and I would like to buy 4 cans and spread the word. She's like, I think this is great. It really starts conversations at our bar as well for all the different things and people who would affect. And they're like, oh, that's actually like Sarah's daughter. Like we raised this for Parker. And people would come up and start conversations with me and be like, oh, my kid's autistic too. So it's more community within our community.
That's dope.
Yeah. And then our one that is coming up this month, the last one of the year, it's our Thai basil saison that we usually brew. It's usually in bottles, but we're doing it in cans this year. It's our women's brew also, and we're giving it to Jillian's Place. They take care of a lot of women and children that really need help, a lot of abuse and everything like that within Niagara and like St. Catharines. So any can that's bought, proceeds go towards a good cause. And then they get something from it. You get to donate, feel good, and you get a delicious beer out of it. So it's just win-win-win all across the board.
I love it. How often do you do these? Is it every month? Is it a few times a year?
So we choose around 3 to 4 a year. And it's one of our meetings. We go in and we talk about it. And it's so hard to choose based off whatever one you want to do. Sometimes it's just like a name in a hat. Other times we vote on it. But yeah.
I mean, that's like dope way. I guess is sort of letting every staff member almost have like a call or whatever on each month would be cool, or each time. I like that. Like you said, community within a community. Giving back even more so at a time. I think it's even cooler that you guys are doing that at a time when beer is at an interesting place. Mm-hmm. The economy is an interesting place, and you're still finding bandwidth to do these things and to raise awareness and finances for important causes. So congrats. That's awesome. I love that. I'd love to hear that. What's the next one?
So the next one is Artemis. That's our Thai basil saison. And that was brewed by us women of the XB back in May, I believe. So that'll be coming out very soon in a can.
Nice. That's fire. And then was there any more for the rest of the year? Or that's the last one for 2025?
This is our last one for this year. We've actually had some places reach out to us asking if they could be a potential partner. So we're going to look through a couple of them, but we mostly like keeping it at home and choosing from different staff. Like everyone goes through something different every year. Some things are like kind of surprising that people come up with, but it's been great so far. And like all the people that we've met through these different places as well are just so nice. Like they'll drop off, they'll come by and say hi and like buy cases at a time and go hand them out to like people at work that are like going through what we're fundraising for. It's just so much fun all around.
That's dope. How long has this been happening for?
I want to say like 4 years. I think a little after I started. Yeah.
Okay. That's dope. Was there any reason it started? Was it just kind of like, hey, we should probably give back?
We were like thinking of different ways to give back, and then I think like you just talk to each other and you're all going through certain things. Like I was going through my daughter's diagnosis, and people could see like the time I had to take off work and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my God, I just wish like I could like give back and do stuff like this. Other people's like significant others were really sick, and it was just like a really like bummy time after COVID and everything. So it was kind of one thing to kind of uplift us and feel like we're helping and like taking charge in a way of something you can't really control, if that makes sense. But like you're kind of like trying to help others when you yourself can't. And I think that's like the best part of it. Like it's just a community helping. And we really do try to keep it like local to like Niagara and Hamilton and all that kind of stuff.
I love that. That kind of comes back to what we were saying earlier about like that's kind of what breweries are intended to be, like, really for local community. Obviously, you're bringing people in from elsewhere, of course, but community hubs for the people who are around you and stuff. And if that's where, if there's organizations that exist to assist particular people who are going through some shit, then and you're able to assist with that, like, I know that's awesome. I don't know.
Even we've done one for MS, and we've had like so many MS walks come out and be like, well, we're gonna buy it from you, but it's just gonna come back to us. And we're like, that's the point, that's fine. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, so it's just little things like that just like are very random during the week. It happens, and it just makes you feel like that much better.
Like you're doing something that's sort of worthwhile and that it's actually helping people and your community, more importantly, around the brewery and around everything you're doing. That's awesome.
A lot of them too are like, it's even just like awareness for charities that people may have not even like heard of, like or like things that people wouldn't think of. During Pride Month, we did a Pride and Joy. It was a wit beer, and we donated to an LGBTQ youth line. And a lot of people actually didn't know about the youth line even existing. And it's like, it's a resource. It's here, and it helped raise a lot of awareness for a lot of children that are going through a lot of hard times and feeling alone. So it was something that was really special and near and dear to our hearts.
So it's like not only helping them, but also drawing attention to the work that the nonprofit is doing as well, to sort of make the community that isn't aware of the nonprofit but is aware of the brewery to be like, hey, this exists, and maybe it's not for that person, but you're like, you might know someone who could. So you just like start passing that information on, and they hear about it because they're fans of your beer and stuff like that.
It starts the conversation, which is really important.
Totally. Once again, that's just community, right? Like this is what the whole point of a brewery is.
Yeah.
And it's well done. I think that's cool. I think it's like really admirable. I love seeing initiatives like this. I feel like it's fewer and further between, which is kind of fair enough in the sense of it's a rough time in the world. But if you guys are able to find that bandwidth to continue to do that regularly, and spotlight all these organizations that are doing some great work and that are helping different people who have different needs that in the community that aren't being served, that's I don't know, it's sick. Once again, it's what beer is for community. And I love that. That's so cool, man. You guys are doing some great shit. This has been really cool to chat with you both and to really, I'm just looking at the empties right here, and seeing the, like, getting a really good idea of what the Exchange does and have a bit more of a sort of a larger, just a bit more of a context of the things that you guys are doing and then the styles of beer that you're brewing. So it's whether it's the community work or the event or just making great stuff in an area that the gateway stuff, introducing new people to beer, putting up with people saying kind of ridiculous thing about rosemary, like it's which is very funny. I will not forget that. I'm definitely going to be laughing about that for some time. Like that's pretty crazy. But yeah, it's like it's very cool, and I'm very glad we all got to hang out tonight and to chat about this stuff and everything that you're doing. And it's very cool. I'm excited for you for Sourpalooza once again, October 10th and 11th at the brewery. BAOS 50 is the code. The link I'm going to put in the description. I'm going to put at the top of the description as far as use code BAOS 50 at this link, and I'll get that from you, Sarah. Make sure it's in there, and so you can get that discount off the festival if you listen to this in enough time, which is perfect. Was there anything else that we needed to touch on before we bring this home?
No, I think that's it.
Did it pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for both of you once again for taking the time to hang out and to chat, and for going through. This was like a really fun lineup of beers as well. I think this was cool because we got a couple of different versions of your canned stuff, and then to the barrel program, and then specifically to the event stuff as well, which is exceptional. All this stuff is phenomenal. I wish. I really hope to see more of the barrel-aged sour beer be talked about more, just period. And you guys are just making some exceptional stuff. Like these 3 beers alone are just this bonkers. This is so good. I'm so impressed. I love to see it. Stick around afterwards. We'll finish up off air. But where can everybody find Exchange online and in real life?
Yeah, so you can find us at exchangebrewery.com or the Exchange Brewery on Instagram. And you can also find us at 7 Queen Street, Niagara-On-The-Lake. Just look for the giant clock tower. We're right in front of it.
Perfect. And it's sort of as you're coming, is King Street the main one where you turn left into Queen Street there?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the corner.
So we're like right where the crosswalk is. It's like King and Queen. We're right there, right across from Prince of Wales.
Yes, and that big ass park. What's the park called?
Do you remember?
That is, I'm at work every day, and you'd think I would maybe know the name of the park.
You know what? I think we all need to know, and we're going to find out right now. God damn it! It is called. Hang on, 7 Queen Street. It's called. Wait, what the fuck? Simcoe Park.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yes, and you're like literally right in that corner there. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff on Queen Street. It's definitely worth it, and you're like 2 blocks from the ocean there. Well, it's not the ocean; it's a lake, but it's fire. It's wicked. It's such a vibe. Niagara-on-the-Lake is so good. Tons of stuff going on. Thank you both once again for taking the time, hanging out, for sharing all this. I really appreciate you both immensely. Thank you so much. Stick around afterwards. We'll wrap up off air. But folks, thank you for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit that notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BOS Podcast. Check out our long form audio. Give us 5 stars. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Not for me. No. For Sarah and Hunter. For being impeccable. For these glorious sour beers. For Niagara-on-the-Lake. And we'll see you on the next one, yo. Peace, guys.